Industry in this country doesn't care about getting answers from either party. They're in the business of ideology. That's what they do now. The press is not interested in solving anything, which is why nothing ever gets solved. Pressure on politicians works, but there is little pressure. It is shameful. Back in a moment. Thieves are using AI to steal from you. With forged paperwork and a signature, they can claim control of your property on record, then take out loans or sell it for quick cash. Use my promo code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com. Get a free title history report, plus a free trial of $1 million triple lock protection. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom fighters. Good morning, Tim Jones.
Good morning, Ken Williams. Good morning, all y'all, and welcome to the Vic Porcelli Show. Tim Jones in for Vic Porcelli. You're like, who's this turkey? Well, that means you're not listening to the afternoon program if you don't know this voice by now. Or maybe you don't listen on Double Woosh Wednesdays, because apparently I'm going to have to interview myself at 10:05 today.
I know. I did take you off of there, though, so you're okay.
Tim, what do you think about this? Well, Tim, let me tell you.
Right.
Ken, I've talked to myself before. Just ask my wife.
Good.
It's a thing I have. Some might say it's diagnosable. Welcome to the Vic Porcelli Show. I am very proud, honored, and privileged to be sitting in the big chair for one Vic Porcelli today. Got Ken Williams, of course, on the wheels of steel. We got a jam-packed program. The 3-hour... Wow, you guys do 3 hours of radio. That sounds exhausting.
Every day is fun.
I used to do I used to do 3.5 hours of radio in the morning, and it almost killed me. Jeff Allen almost killed me doing that to me. Yeah, he almost did. I think it was on purpose.
What we did when we first started with 3 hours, we had 2 hours, and we went to 3, and we thought, this is going to be it.
We're just going to be looking at each
hour.
other.
Yeah, right. And it just flies by.
It does.
Every single hour.
It does. 2 hours, which is what Allman and Columbo and Chris and I do. It's almost not enough, like you said. There's plenty of material left on the cutting room floor every day because there's plenty going on. And I'm very happy that we have these two open segments. We have an open segment now. We're going to be joined by Pam Fichter, my very good friend. Known her for pretty much my entire career in Missouri politics and public policy because she's with Missouri Right to Life. We have an important ballot proposal. Yes, another ballot proposal. Hey, you never should get tired of going to the ballot box, right?
Right.
This is your duty as an American citizen because there's men and women around the planet right now defending your right to do that.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear it about, I got another election. I got this. You should be excited to go to the ballot box because, Ken, a lot of people in a lot of countries, they never get to go to a ballot box. They're not allowed.
I may be, I may be going deep into the weeds on this when I go to the ballot box, but I love the experience itself. Standing out there talking to people and actually just seeing all the people who are there. If there's a long line, which a lot of times there is.
Indeed.
It's
not weird.
No.
It's fine.
It's great. And then I get a chance to talk to people, and it's really wonderful, a wonderful experience. Yeah. So you got to do it for all the other reasons, but of course for that reason too.
Yeah. Don't want you to be a stalker or anything. But,
no. So who you voting for?
We're just excited that we get to go to the ballot box.
Yes.
And that's why you should be excited about the fact that do people just bring you coffee in the morning? This is wonderful.
Michele. No, never.
Michele tries to get out of here before
Michele
I get in here.
You.
Yeah, well, only in the mornings apparently because she's gone in the afternoons. No, Michele Rush is wonderful. I don't know why she puts up with Joe Rush, but I shouldn't say that because Joe's twice the size of me, so he'll come in and squash me next. But no, we have a great station here. It's a big family. I'm filling in the morning, but it doesn't really matter. It's like everybody's still here. All the infrastructure's here. You're here. You and I used to work together.
Oh, well, actually, one of
every
my first
Sunday
gigs
night.
was with
Yes.
you. Yeah.
The aptly named. I don't know how Jeff Allen came up with this. Came up with the title for my show. It was called the Tim Jones Show.
Yeah.
We put a lot of consultant money into that.
We liked it a lot, too, because it was Sunday night when everybody was getting re-geared back toward the week politically, and they were like, wonder what's going on now.
Well, and there was
we
nobody
would-
there at the studio, so we could do whatever we wanted.
That was really good.
We won't tell those stories.
Yeah.
But
So Tim is in for Vic. Vic is having some stuff done.
he's having He's
He'll
having
be
a
back
checkup.
tomorrow. Yeah.
He's getting the oil checked.
Yeah.
Maybe the washer fluid filled up.
Right.
He'll be back tomorrow, and he'll keep you posted on everything going on in Vic's life. But it is great to have Vic here. Vic hates when I say this, but when I was a teenager, I used to listen to Vic every afternoon. When I was a greenskeeper on a golf course. Did you know that?
No.
Did I ever tell you that?
I did not know that.
So back in the day, see, I am old enough. I am younger than Vic, but unfortunately, I am old enough to tell you that back in the day, we used to have the Sony Walkmans or the whatevers, right?
Yeah.
The big clunky devices.
I remember.
Everything was corded. There was cords to the headphones. You kids don't know how good you have it these days. There was no wireless anything, and we had to carry these big. They're like half the size of a boombox, the early versions, around with you. But you used to carry radios, an actual radio with you, and some of them, the fancy ones, had cassette players attached to them. So I would have my little radio with my headphones, all corded with a little belt clip. We look like such nerds. And I would sit on the tractors or the greens mowers or the sand rakes or whatever, and I would listen to Porcelli's Deli every afternoon as I was tooling around, cutting greens or cutting fairways or raking bunkers.
So there was one experimentation I was doing with wireless at the time because I was at the river with Vic. And I would be on the air with wireless headphones, and it was so funny because...
No way. Back then?
Well, they didn't last very long because every time, for some reason, they interacted with some of the other stuff that it wasn't working well, and the feedback was amazing, like for 2 seconds, and I just took them off, borrowed somebody's other headphones. They were Sennheisers, too. They were really good.
So they were experimenting with that back in the, 90s probably?
Yeah, mid to late 90s.
Mid to late 90s?
Yeah.
And I'll bet you, Ken, that the military had that technology first, right? And
Probably.
They then transitioned it into the civilian world.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely.
Most likely, yeah.
So anyway, hey, speaking of the military, our men and women around the planet voting on Election Day, I know that there's a tradition here where we begin every morning on the Vic Porcelli Show with the Pledge of Allegiance. So who is doing our pledge today?
Tim, we're doing with we have Frank Cambaletta.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was fast.
That was very to the point. It was very pointed.
Right.
He meant every single word of now. Who is that gentleman? Am I supposed to know who he is? Is he a listener? Is he a famous guy? Is he somebody?
No, well, we've had him on the show, and
okay.
People know him.
So he's a think tank dude.
Yeah.
Very, very good. You guys have a lot of great guests. We have a lot of great guests today. So anyway, let me get back to our first hour. I'm very happy. I was saying that Ken provided a couple of open slots where Ken and I will talk because I have a lot of stuff that I need to talk to Ken about because this is what Ken and I used to do on Sunday nights. And so, Ken, I've got stuff swirling around in my head, everything from Dolly Parton. That news, as Vic would say, that news, of course, broke after you guys were off the air yesterday.
Yeah, my wife, she texted me with the big teary-eyed emojis and all that. She was very upset about it.
I was shocked because even though Dolly was 80 years old, she was like 80 years young. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And, and Dolly had no problem talking about the plastic surgery and stuff and how much she prided her looks and all that. So a lot of it may be because she had a youthful exterior, but I also think she had a youthful interior because, Ken, she was still bopping around the whole country doing things for children literacy, singing still, doing tours. She just opened up a brand new Dolly-themed convenience store in Tennessee. I didn't know that till yesterday. I read that story. So she was doing stuff. So she was youthful on the outside, youthful on the inside. And so I think that's why it caught us off guard because I think a lot of us were thinking, well, we've got another 10 to 15 years at least of Dolly Parton.
Yeah, when my daughter was working down in the Smokies as a national park ranger. We went down and we visited her. I get confused because the Smokies are Tennessee, and then Mammoth Caves, Kentucky.
Yes.
Okay, so we went to Gatlinburg and we went to Pigeon
Forge,
Forge, which is where her
Dollywood
is. Yeah, we
I
visited
love that
all
area.
that, and my daughters in particular, Tim.
That is hillbilly heaven to me.
Oh yeah, well,
It's hillbilly Vegas.
If you like Branson, this is a little more calmer version of that.
I love Pigeon Forge. I love Gatlinburg even more.
Yeah.
And Dolly is like everywhere. Like there's stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Dolly land, that whole area.
Well, the first thing that they wanted to do when we got there was, hey, we've got to go see Dolly paraphernalia everywhere.
Okay.
You know, because they have them in all the stores. You mentioned something about a Dollywood store that was within Pigeon Forge also. I think that she opened up. But there were other stores that had Dolly everywhere, like life-size dollies that you could walk up and get a picture with.
She just opened up like a version of like a Buc-ee's or a Wally's.
Okay.
She opened up a Dolly-themed rest area gas station.
As well she should have.
Yes. And she just did that ribbon cutting for this place in Cornersville. I don't know where Cornersville, Tennessee is, but I saw the story yesterday when I was doing a little tooling around about Dolly. So I've got everything in my head from Dolly to the rise of the jihad here. We've got the breaking news coming out of South Carolina about the primary last night, the wacky WNBA, and more. So there's lots of stuff that Ken and I are going to talk about the rest of this segment, which we only have a few minutes left in. And then at 9:41, I'll continue that conversation. At 9:25, we've got Pam Fichter. She's coming up next, my good friend at Missouri Right to Life. And as I was saying, we have a very important constitutional proposal on the ballot. It is called Amendment 3. It is the good Amendment 3. It is the Amendment 3 that is going to save as many women, babies, yet to be born, Missourians to come, and children as possible. And, Ken, I do believe that conservatives are going to be a lot more united on this proposal than the other two. But, Ken, you won't be surprised to know there are some people that claim to be on our side of the fence that once again want to bitch, whine, and moan that this is not perfect enough and this is not good enough and blah, 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 but they have no plan B. So Amendment 3 is the only plan we have to vote on this year to save women, children, and babies.
Yeah, Tim, it comes in steps. I mean,
that's how we got to this point.
Yes.
That's how Missouri got to the point 2 years ago through the passage of the heartbeat bill, which triggered into effect after the Dobbs decision, which overturned Roe v. Wade. Missouri got to that point, courtesy of Nick Schroer and many of the Missouri Caucus freedom fighters. So they got to that point not overnight, but that was 50 years of pro-life legislators making Missouri finally, after those 50 years, a pro-life state. The left comes in with their deceptive Amendment 3 2 years ago, undoes the whole thing because it was like, hey, vote for pink fluffy unicorns, as my daughters might say.
Well, didn't they say it was health care?
Yeah. Vote for
women's health or something.
Vote
like
for
that?
pink fluffy health care, for all women and children. And it was a lie because all they showed you was the 50 deceptive words on a ballot. They never show you the pages and pages and pages of leftist bullcrap that's really behind that 50-word ballot summary.
Yeah, Tim, what I worry about is if we go down this road, we're going to end up like Massachusetts. I can't believe what that governor, and I use that in quotation marks, that governor, she decided to make it legal for an abortion all the way up to birth.
Well, technically we're there. Missouri's there right now.
Really?
The bad Amendment 3. Yeah, see, that's what people don't realize. The bad Amendment 3 in 2024, we are on par with Massachusetts abortion laws. And the good Amendment 3, we have a big sign up on our studio. You can see it probably on one of our many massive cameras here. The good Amendment 3 is what will undo the bad Amendment 3 and move us 99% back towards being the 100% pro-life state we were. And so that's what is on the ballot in November. We're going to talk to Pam Fichter about exactly what is in and what is not in the new Amendment 3 this year that will be on your ballot in November.
Hey, do you have any ideas how much money that outside money has spent on this in particular?
I don't know on this in particular, but on all the bad initiatives over the last few years, it's over $40 million.
Amazing.
So Medicaid, Obamacare Medicaid expansion was passed in 2016. Recreational marijuana, the bad pro-abortion Amendment 3. I could go on and on and on. Ken, Missouri is the 4th leading state in the nation for outside leftist billionaire influence. We are the 4th highest state in the country. Why? Because our Constitution is so easy to change.
Okay, that's the initiative petition reform that we have to work on, right?
Yeah, that failed, and we have to go back to the drawing board now on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, we got a big show. And I want to ask you about. Did you hear what Charles Barkley said about the WNBA?
No, I don't think I've heard that yet.
Well, you'll have to find that clip. You guys will want to play it later in the week, but I'll tell you basically what he says. You might be. I don't know if you'll be surprised or not, because what do we think about Charles Barkley? We generally like Charles Barkley, but I think he kind of leans to the left a little bit because, he's kind of in that world. But
yeah.
I also think he's a sensible person. So I'm probably tipping off what he said. But I'm going to tell you at 9:40 what Charles Barkley exactly said about the WNBA. And
that'll be
you may or may not be surprised.
Yeah, well, I am very surprised by some of the remarks by the NBA players. I mean, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by some of the remarks, and I'm glad that some of these people are stepping up with common sense, Tim.
You would hope so. Hey, our next guest, she knows what a woman is, and she'll tell you that she is one, and she'll tell you why the good Amendment 3, which is on your ballot this November, is the one that we pro-life Missourians must vote on if we want to save as many women, children, and babies as possible. Pam Fichter from Missouri Right to Life up next on the Vic Porcelli Show here at 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
As President Lincoln said,
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Calling all Patriots. Join the St. Louis County Republicans for the annual Lincoln Reagan Day Dinner, Saturday, September 19th at River City Casino. Our keynote speaker, Newsmax personality, Rob Carson. Enjoy a full night of fun and information alongside state and local officials and candidates. It's an evening you won't want to miss. Dinner and program, just $75. For tickets, email reneeartman@hotmail.com or call 314-398-6667.
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
Woosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Over $1.3 billion. Trump just talks the talk. We walk the walk.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I love that you guys are keeping the spirit of Joe Biden alive,
Well, we have to because he has a book coming out, a memoir.
Oh.
It's called Promise Me America. But the inside scoop is, Tim, is that we have the audio version and we play it just about every other day on this station.
You guys should book him for an interview.
Right, we should.
Problem is he'd forget.
Right, he would.
He's forgotten he was president.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I think we do have to keep the memory of Joe Biden alive just to remind Democrats of what a massive mistake they made, and partially has put them in the position they're now in. But a very happy Double Woosh Wednesday to all y'all. Tim Jones in for Vic Porcelli today.
Woosh, woosh.
Yeah, indeed. The Vic Porcelli Show. Ken Williams over there. I'm over here. And joining us now is my very good friend Pam Fichter of Missouri Right to Life. We have a very important key ballot proposition to consider that is, about 2 months away. Pam's going to tell us about that and more. Pam, welcome back to News Talk STL. Great to have you on the morning show with us today.
Oh, thanks so much, Tim. Great to be with you.
So, Pam, you have held a lot of roles with Missouri Right to Life. I don't want to screw up your title. What title do you hold now? Are you like Queen Bee or something now, or what do I refer to you as?
Oh, well, my husband would say I'm just very, very busy. But anyway, it's a mission of love. But right now, I'm for the last, 15 years, I've been Eastern Region Chairman of Missouri Right to Life. The St. Louis area and surrounding counties is kind of the engine of Missouri Right to Life. It's our largest membership and our most active region. So it's been a great honor to work in this region to support the work of Missouri Right to Life.
Indeed. And Pam, I went to one of your websites this morning. You have a couple of them. I went to MissouriLifePack.org, and right there at the top of the scroll is a big giant reminder that on November 3rd, we want all pro-life Missourians to vote yes on Amendment 3. Pam, tell me why Missouri Right to Life was an early, maybe one of the first endorsers of the legislative vehicle that Senator Adam Schnelting, who's a very good friend of mine, member of the Missouri Freedom Caucus, and his House colleagues, just with all of your help and everybody's, I want people to know this was a Herculean effort because there's a lot of people in the Missouri Capitol that say they're pro-life, but then really don't ever want to do any heavy lifting to get it done. And Senator Schnelting got this across the finish line, along with a lot of other great folks within the legislature and around the legislature. Why did Missouri Right to Life come on board so early to support this good Amendment 3 this year?
Well, Tim, because you're right about Adam Schnelting. Senator Schnelting walks the walk, and he's been such a warrior for life. But what happened in 2024 was that the Amendment 3 at that time, which is now Article 1, Section 36 of the Missouri Constitution, basically removes all of the safety and health protections, all of the protections for unborn children and women in crisis pregnancies that we have worked so hard for over 50 years to provide to Missouri citizens. And it was a devastating loss, and it was a very close loss in spite of being outspent about 10-1. And we lost by fewer than 100,000 votes statewide, and all we needed to change was fewer than 50,000 of those votes to have won. So we see that we have an avenue, we have a doorway. The people in 2024 were lied to by deceptive ads, paid for by largely out-of-state and even some out-of-the-country money. So we have the chance now to recover from that devastating loss with the help of our wonderful legislators who gave us this great referendum that will allow the Missouri voters to restore the safety and health inspections that were lost in 2024. It will allow the legislature to be back in charge, which that 2024 vote removed their ability to pass any regulations or restrictions, and it's going to restore so much of what we lost, almost the majority of what we lost. It's a huge step forward for life.
So, Pam, you made a ton of great points there, and two that I want to specifically drill down on because these are two of the things that get brought up all the time. So, Pam, for people that say, and these are mainly the leftists and the hardcore abortionists on demand, the people who want to transgender young children and mutilate them by lopping off their body parts. Pam, for those people that say, well, hey, the Missouri voters have spoken. They just spoke in 2024 when they approved the Amendment 3 of 2024. Pam, I would argue that the ballot summary I will bet you that 99.9% or some approximation thereof of voters read the 50-word ballot summary for that 2024 proposal and did not read the multi-page proposition that it actually was, because voters don't see that on the ballot. And so, to your point, the people can't have spoken when the people were deceived, right?
Right. I mean, they were told that this was about miscarriage and ectopic pregnancies. Had absolutely nothing to do with that, because those have nothing to do with abortion. Those situations are tragic situations, but they have nothing to do with abortion. And the abortion laws that we have had no, were not impairing people from getting treatment for those situations. So what they did was they lied to the voters in the millions of dollars, the $35 million that they spent in Missouri with the commercials that were so deceptive and so untrue. I mean, there's no law against lying, and they certainly took advantage of that. And yes, they opened the door with the language, with the broad language of this 2024 Article 1, Section 36, that they have now allowed children to be sexually mutilated in Missouri, and with taxpayer money. I mean, it is so diabolical, sweeping the language that is now in our Constitution. And yes, I agree with you. The overwhelming majority of voters had no idea what they were voting for. And that's why they deserve a second chance at this.
Indeed. And so, Pam, and additionally, a lot of folks are shocked and chagrined, as they should be, about what the state of Massachusetts did last week, where the governor, to the applause of a bunch of abortionists standing around her, signed into law a far-reaching abortion proposal, one of the most, draconian in the country. However, because of the bad Amendment 3, Missouri's right along there with them, right? So right now, Missouri is, unfortunately, a abortion-on-demand state, not much different than Massachusetts, right?
Oh, we are now, we've gone from being the first state to be abortion-free and the most pro-life state in the country to now being the most anti-life place, not just in the country, but possibly even in the world. I mean, we have the most liberal anti-life laws now in our Constitution. They have a constitutional right to do late-term abortions on children that can feel pain. And yes, as horrified as what we saw happen there last week, I mean, that's now in our Constitution. And so we have got to work to restore the protections that we know that Missourians want when they're told the truth.
So, Pam, I know our listeners are very interested to hear exactly what Amendment 3 will do, the new Amendment 3, the good Amendment 3, the Amendment 3 that's on the ballot this November 3rd for all Missouri voters. What does this year's Amendment 3 do? Why should our pro-life listeners support it?
Well, it is going to restore the safety and health inspections that were removed in the previous amendment. It's going to restore parental consent. It's going to provide informed consent for mothers. It's going to limit taxpayer-funded abortions. It's going to ban fetal organ harvesting. And it's going to ban sexual transitions for minors in Missouri. And it's going to restore the legislature's ability to act, to be the representative of the people. Right now we have the chemical abortions are rapidly becoming the largest method of abortions in the country, 60 to 70%. And our legislature has no ability to regulate or restrict that in any way because of what's now in our Constitution. Mm-hmm. So this is the chance that we have to restore these protections and even add to them some that we see are needed by the direction that the culture is headed and the protections that we know we need to provide in Missouri.
So, Pam, long story short, if this Amendment 3 passes, it will bring Missouri dramatically back towards nearly where it was as a 100% pro-life state. And then it also will provide the pathway to bring us back the rest of the full way by giving the power back to the legislature where it should reside, correct?
Yes. There's only two things on the ballot regarding this. You can either vote for the old Amendment 3, which is unlimited, unrestricted abortion on demand and all of the bad things that I've explained, or you can vote on the new Amendment 3, which is going to provide protection for unborn children, for their mothers, for confused children on their sexuality, put the legislature back in charge. It's going to protect over 99% of unborn children. And as you say, it will give us a pathway to become what we had before, which was a solidly pro-life state.
Mm-hmm. And I like what you said there about the binary choice here, because, Pam, there is no putting these things on the ballot, whether it's through a legislative referral like what happened here with this proposal, or the citizen-led initiative way, which seems like only the leftists use that anymore these days in Missouri, unfortunately, is a Herculean effort in and of itself, right? It takes a lot, whether you go through the legislature or whether you go through the citizen initiative process. It's thousands of hours of time. It's untold millions of dollars. It's campaigns. And so so really it's one at a time, right? That's all people really have the bandwidth for, generally, it seems. And this is the only proposal this year. So whether this passes or fails, that's going to be the law of the land after November 3rd, right? We're either going to be stuck with the old Amendment 3 and the parade of horribles that you just described, or we're going to be bringing Missouri dramatically back towards a 100% pro-life state and giving the legislature the ability to do that as well. So this is the only choice this year. There's no other option to wait for.
Right, that's absolutely right. If a yes on 3 is the pro-life vote. If you don't vote, or you don't vote for it, or you vote against it, you're voting with Planned Parenthood, and you are voting with George Soros and all of the other anti-life people that have brought such death and destruction into our country and basically to our world. This is the vote that we need to protect life. Any other vote will not protect life.
So I want to mention something here about one of our listeners, one of the Vic heads in the chat. They made a comment, if I could.
Oh, yeah, sure, Ken.
Don't kill the messenger, okay,
sure.
You guys? Okay. All right, so it's from listener PMS. He says, when the conservatives lost in the Missouri Clean Act back in 2018, don't move that, that should have opened their eyes as to what needs to be done better. Nope, didn't learn anything. What are your thoughts on that?
Not exactly sure. Referring to Clean Missouri, Pam, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Are they talking about the initiative petition process, or talking about voting on something more than once? I mean, look what they did with the riverboat gambling. I mean, how many times did they bring that back? I mean, it's okay when the other side wants to do it, but when a conservative issue comes back, all of a sudden they're crying foul. They say that the people's voice counts. Well, does the people's voice only count once? So, I mean, this is an opportunity for the people to hear the truth and to vote on the truth and to overcome the lies and deception that they were told in 2024.
Could not agree more. Pam, how can folks help? How can they get engaged on the Yes on 3 campaign running now through November the 3rd?
Well, they can go to our website, MissouriLifePAC.org. And there's a lot of opportunities to become a volunteer. They can contribute to the campaign. We've already got door knockers out there. We've already done, we've been doing social media now for over a year.
That's awesome.
Follow us on Facebook and X and Instagram. We're going to be starting our phone banking soon. We've got a tremendous ground game. We've got a tremendous coalition of partnerships of pro-life groups throughout Missouri. We're working closely with all of the pro-life groups. We have a monthly meeting where we share our strategies and polling and work to support each other in whatever lane we're in order to bring a victory for life in Missouri.
Could not agree more. Amen to that. That's Pam Fichter. She is the Eastern Missouri Regional Chair for Missouri Right to Life, MissouriLifePAC.org. Pam, thanks so much for kicking us off this morning. These are very positive words that we want people to hear, and we want people to help do everything they can to save life and protect children in Missouri. Pam, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. Good luck to you, and thanks for all you do.
Indeed.
Thanks, Pam.
Pam Fichter there. When we come back, what did Charles Barkley say about the WNBA? I'm a poet, and I hardly know it. Yeah, look at me roll. You might be surprised. You might not. I'm going to tell you, and we're going to dig into lots more when we come back on the Vic Porcelli Show. Tim Jones in today here at 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
In my life, I had a guardian angel by my side. I called her Mamaw. She loved the Lord, ladies and gentlemen. She was a woman of very deep Christian faith. But she also loved the F word.
On News Talk STL. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
CNN and MS Now's ratings are in the toilet, and yet Newsmax keeps growing. We'll ask Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy what is his secret at 4:05.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Ronald Reagan once famously said, "Government is not the solution, government is the problem." When it comes to economic growth, government can be a roadblock. With red tape, regulations, and subsidies, government stifles entrepreneurship and also props up businesses that deserve to go under. Unlike government, free markets encourage risk-taking, freedom to succeed or fail. Governments shouldn't be picking winners and losers, the market should. Free markets benefit the business owner and the customer by encouraging competition. Free market enabled a young man named J.C. Hall selling picture postcards in Kansas City to turn his idea into Hallmark cards. In St. Louis, the free market made it possible for Adolphus Busch to turn his father-in-law's local beer into the world's largest brewery. A free market also means you get to send your kids to the school of your choice. Learn more about free markets at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
Hitting an underground utility can cause costly damage and serious injury. Contact Missouri 811 online or simply dial 811 at least 3 working days before you dig. It's fast, free, and the law. Safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
It's the law. Sponsored by Missouri 811.
The news and talk.
The Middle East is waiting to see if a deal can be reached on the Strait of Hormuz to avoid a return to conflict.
That matters to St. Louis.
The Iranians literally broke every promise.
This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
Woosh, woosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Oh, shouldn't have said that.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
That was Sophie Cunningham.
Who was that?
Sophie Cunningham.
Oh, shouldn't have said that.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah.
That's a riot. What's the song here?
It's called Somakusa.
Who sings this?
Manu Dibango. Manu Dibango.
What language are you speaking over there?
Well, I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Were they a big band? When?
No. The song's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Vic really likes it.
Were they back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or are they more current?
If it's a selection of Vic's, yes.
Okay.
Probably.
He must have, between the two of you, you guys must have like several record stores in your head.
Oh, yeah, because he has all that, and then I like some of the newer stuff in independent bands. So put it together. Yeah, there's quite a vast variety.
Well, you know me, I'm more into the. I like all the music you guys play is awesome, and it brings back a lot of memories. But I also like the alt rock as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, because I was a child of the 80s and 90s, and I was in college. My formative years, when you really get into music, I was in the 90s, which was the rise of bands like The Cure and Joy Division and Jesus and Mary Chain and bands like that. And I was at Fordham University in the Bronx in New York, which is a melting pot, a multiverse, the kids would say these days, of all sorts of music and sound. And at that time in the 90s, I was there late 80s. I went to college in 89, graduated in 93. So I was there at the dawn of the transition from 80s to 90s grunge and alt rock. And there is a station on Long Island, which the urban legend is they were the first alt rock station in the country. And I don't know if they're still around or not, but it's WDRE. It was WDRE, Long Island, New York. And they'd play all the new breaking stuff. And a lot of these bands I mentioned, I know some people are familiar with, like, The Cure. Like, everybody knows The Cure. But, like, when I start going into things like Jesus and Mary Chain and Joy Division and bands like that, you've heard of them, I'm sure. But a lot of other people may not have.
We played a lot of Jane's Addiction. We played a lot of that stuff. My band did.
Jane's Addiction,
we were
another one.
around the country.
Yep.
Yeah. And we were opening for a lot of bands. So, but Vic, he doesn't like those bands because it reminds him of the grunge station that we were sister to.
Okay.
And he did not like the people on the stage. Not all of them. I mean, Jeff Burton, of course, we loved him.
Do you remember the band They Might Be Giants?
Yeah.
They had some of the most fun music I've ever heard.
They Might Be Giant. We shouldn't. Oh, are we going down it? Okay. At Riverport.
We can go wherever we want.
Okay, Riverport. They Might Be Giants. I was working that show for The Point, I think, at the time. And I was standing in the middle of the place, the area where you sit.
Okay.
Okay. And they started playing the song where people were bouncing and jumping. And it was the coolest moment I think I've ever experienced. I had a chill. I get chills now. Just seeing visualizing it. But the people everybody was just throwing stuff up in the air and they were just dancing. It was just great. They Might Be Giants was so energizing when you saw them live.
Because all their songs were very upbeat. And I wonder if the one you're thinking of, one of their most famous songs was Birdhouse in Your Soul.
I think that might have been it.
Blue Canary in the Outlet by the Light Switch.
Who's
watching over you?
Right.
Make a little birdhouse in your soul. That's as much as I say.
If Vic's listening right now, he's right. I hate this conversation.
Stop it. Yeah. So anyway, I love the music you guys play because it's such a wide expanse of music, and I like the 70s rock and the 80s as well.
Yeah.
And the night, I like pretty much all music. I don't get really into like deep metal, like I'll do pretend metal, like some of the hits from like Blue Oyster Cult back in the day.
Yeah, that's not really metal.
But that's not really metal.
No, I get what you're saying.
But I was like, I like the Iron Maiden posters. I really never got an Iron Maiden.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The posters were kick ass. But trying to listen to that stuff, I'm like, my ears are bleeding.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really get into. I'm sorry, and people can hate me for this. Probably nobody in this audience, but I do not understand Taylor Swift music. I don't know why. I'm happy for her. I don't understand why she's a billionaire. I don't get it. I don't get her music. Do you?
She found the formula. That's really all it is.
What is it about her music? Is she a lyricist?
I think she's an average singer.
Yeah.
I think she's an average writer, and I know she's had some songs that are just amazing that were written by her. But I just think that she just touched on something that women and primarily women and girls love, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
No, I don't either.
And I'm not being sexist because I'm a fan of a ton of female artists that I honestly think are much better than Taylor Swift. I think they sing better. I think they write better. I think and I'm just like, why aren't they all multi-billionaires?
It's being marketable and doing that one thing that everybody loves. I mean, think about that one thing. The one thing was about her dating life.
That's true.
I mean, and she made
and
billions
over
of dollars.
and over again.
Yeah. But that's that's what people wanted. You'll talk to my wife and my daughters about Taylor Swift, and they'll say, "Don't you say anything bad about them."
Well, see, neither of my daughters are Taylor Swift fans, and I'm very proud of that. I brought them up right. My younger daughter, she likes Vic Porcelli music.
There you go.
She is like Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and she listens to modern music too. Like she has her modern music songs too. But my younger Abby, she loves like old school classic rock. And my older daughter, Katie, has a hankering for some of the music I listen to. Like she's a big fan of Lord Huron, who is who I'm a big fan of. They're kind of they're kind of a folk kind of alt rock band,
Yeah.
Sing a lot of good ethereal kind of music, good stuff like that.
My daughter Abby and I have a very close relationship with 21 Pilots. We've gone to a couple concerts.
They're a great band.
She, I have all their stuff. I know the words to the song.
Mm-hmm.
They're a fairly advanced band. But my daughter Madison, who's the National Park Ranger, I raised her on vinyl and like bands like Queen and ELO.
Yes.
And she'd be like, "Dad, what is this band? ELO." I will hear, just listen. And she would sit there and listen to it. She got into it. That's what you got to do. You got to let kids, leave them alone to it. They may not like it, but if they like it, they'll really get into it.
Just expose them to it.
Expose them to it.
So Ken and I went down that rabbit trail, and if Vic's listening, he's mad at us, but that's okay. I was going to tell you what Charles Barkley said about the WNBA, and I found the quote. But before that, Ken, I like Vic's in the room here. Ken, there is a massive civil war going on in the Democratic Party. and the media wants to pretend it's not happening.
Right.
But there are some Democrats, not enough, in my opinion, but there are more and more speaking out against some of the insanity that we've been experiencing. And one of them is this Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer. Do you know where he's from? Is he from Michigan? He was commenting on Abdul El Sayed, so I'm wondering if he's from Michigan.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll look it up.
Okay, so here is what Democrat, just to prove the point, and this is not anecdotal. Well, it's semi-anecdotal. It's becoming more of a trend for more Democrats to speak up against this insanity. They should have been speaking up against this like a year or two ago, because now I think the cat's out of the bag for them and they may be too far down the pike. But at least some of them are saying there is the possibility of a bridge too far, and that's what this congressman says about this Abdul El Sayed character.
If you were a Michigan voter, how would you vote in the Senate race?
I'll just make it clear. There's no way I'm ever coming out for El Sayed right now. And this is a guy who has made it very clear his views toward and has refused to back off his views toward Jewish Americans. And I hope he comes out and clarifies where he is. I also hope that he does the right thing and condemns Hassan Piker clearly and the language very clearly.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? Now, look, people are going to say, look, he's a Democrat, but I believe he's a Jewish American from his comments there. I think he's Jewish American. He's
New Jersey.
He's New Jersey guy. You can hear it in the voice there. But hey, that's the problem they're in, because the Democratic Party, I'm sorry, the Democrats have always been the party of enslavement and of slavery. And now they just do it a different way. Now they expect people to not be on their actual, but to be on their electoral plantation, right?
Yeah.
And they take Democrats love to stereotype people. They love to broad brush people. They love to put people in their little identity boxes. And then what they expect, Ken, is for you to vote lockstep every 2 or 4 years when they say, hey, we need you to vote for us now. And in the meantime, we're going to continue to go back to screwing up the country and making everybody's life miserable. But because we own you, because we own your vote, we expect you to vote. And that's the way they've treated Jewish Americans for decades. And now Jewish Americans who are like, all right, okay, I'll be a Democrat. I'll play along. I'll be in the Democratic Party. Now they're like, yeah, well, you Jewish American Democrats, you still need to vote for us. But while you're voting for us, we're going to hate you. And we're going to espouse all sorts of racist epithets and send them your way. But you're just going to have to take it because you're going to be a good Democrat and you're just going to do what we say.
Tim, the Democrat Party, they do this all the time for power, for control. They sell their soul. They don't care. They really have no scruples about, we'll just let everybody under this big tent. Like, for example, they've even said it. You've heard them say it. And I'm talking about the new leaders, the Democrat socialists. Well, we have a big tent. Someone will say, well, that Hassan Piker, he's abrasive. He's terrible. He's a terrible man. Well, I don't agree with what he says, but we're a big tent. No. As far as I'm concerned, if a conservative comes in and says something, say, for example, about white supremacy or Nazism, I'd be like, well, you're not in our party.
Yeah, people are going to say, well, that's just politics. And I'll be like, well, that's the end result, right? If you go upstream to your policy positions and to your culture and you try to move towards a perfect union on, right, of freedom and liberty for all, then that shouldn't be in your party. Like, okay, if you take that to the illogical extreme, you say, well, everybody's welcome in the Big Tent. So are you going to have the arsonist come in with his flamethrower and burn the tent down? Is that your definition of being a big tent party? People who are going to destroy the party?
Well, they keep saying that, well, no, we don't believe all that, but we want them in the tent to vote. Well, no, when you want them to vote, you've got the stain on you now.
Because now
that is your stain, not just theirs.
When those people win, they're going to expect you to implement their policy positions.
Hence selling their soul.
So, therefore, you can be a big tent party without bringing the people in that are destructive to the United States of America overall. And that's what people like. Don't take my word for it. Take Democrat Josh Gottheimer's word for it. You finally have Democrats who are speaking up, and it's not just John Fetterman anymore, who for a while was the lone voice in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It's now more and more congressmen, And Gottheimer,
he tries here.
Gottheimer went on to. You just heard what he thought. What he thinks about Syed. Now you're going to hear what he thinks about Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
Al Sayed's response was pathetic, and it did not answer the call. I mean, the bottom line is he did not condemn Piker. He didn't even mention Piker. He didn't condemn what Piker said. He didn't say, I'll never campaign with this guy again. As you pointed out, he campaigned the last night of his primary. This isn't such some random guy for him. And frankly, he should not only condemn him, but no Democratic members should allow Piker anywhere near them on the campaign trail. They should know nothing to do with this guy. And, anybody who does, frankly, and has not condemned them, bears responsibility for somebody's comments like that.
So you can be a big tent party without inviting in anti-American, communist, anti-Semitic haters who want to burn the country down. Like, maybe that should be your line, okay? Be as big a tent of a party as you want, but you should be drawing the line somewhere. And if your only quest, as you pointed out, I think this is their only quest, they don't care about anything I just said. It's all about getting as many people as possible that they can control to vote for someone who has a D after their name, whether they're a destructive person like Al Sayed or Piker, or whether they're just an old school liberal Democrat like a Josh Gottheimer.
Well, Abdul Rahman Muhammad Al Sayed.
Yeah.
He, during the night of the event of the vote, and when they were tallying the votes, he was sitting with Hassan Piker, but then he comes out and says, "Oh no, he's just some guy. We've parted ways." No, he hangs with him. Now they're gonna lie. They're gonna lie through their teeth. They don't care.
They always say that. They always brush that off. What's her face? The one who wears the thing on her head.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah. Didn't she say about 9/11? Oh, that was some people that did something.
Yeah, some people did something.
Can they have a really good knack for just lightly brushing off absolutely horrific things, don't they?
Yes, Tim. On this show, it's called Takia.
Takia?
Yes,
is that like a new car?
No, it's it's actually in the Islam religion, the quote-unquote religion, where they say something to protect Islam, to protect their faith.
Which is not a religion, by the way.
No, it's not.
It's a political
it's an
ideology.
Invasion strategy.
Yes.
However, they use it, they use Takia, they lie, to protect themselves, to protect their ideology. That's an actual function within the Quran. So,
and finally, I told you I was going to tell you what Charles Barkley said. This is one of their major problems. The Democratic Party no longer knows what a woman is, right? None of them can define it. Well, Charles Barkley, who's not a hardcore conservative in the least, right? He's kind of a centrist, maybe center-left kind of guy. He recently said, under no circumstances do I think men should play against women in the WNBA. There's only two genders, folks.
Wow.
And it's male and female. So, Ken, I think I've pissed everyone off in this segment.
Bit, yeah.
There's only two genders, and Islam is not a religion. More of that fun and excitement next on the Vic Porcelli Show, 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
I want to share something with you. Cooking a pizza using coal creates an amazing pizza. Only one place to get it, Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield. Of course, they offer a wide variety of pasta, but you just visit the website NapoliSTL.com, dine in or take out, and get ready for patio season. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield Valley. Try it. You can thank me later.
I'm in my late 60s. My husband died a few years ago. He did all of our taxes. I sold a piece of property last year, and I forgot to claim the proceeds of the sale. Next thing I know, I got a letter from the IRS telling me that I owe over $50,000. Now I have a huge tax problem. I don't have that kind of money. I wish I knew who to call.
If you sold property in the last calendar year or didn't claim all of your part-time or even retirement income, you could be in big trouble with the IRS. Call first before they send you a letter. If you've already got a letter, call. We'll help you file years of past tax returns and save you time and money. So call the tax doctor. The call is confidential and free.
800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. That's 800-240-4586.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at
Facebook and Instagram parent Meta will shell out a bundle, $17 billion, to end a landmark trial over teen social media addiction and settle claims filed by 47 states. Meta also agrees to add child safety measures to its platforms. There's an outpouring of grief around the world over, that is, as people from all walks of life mourn the passing of Dolly Parton, a country music legend, an actress, businesswoman, and philanthropist. She died following a brief battle with cancer. A nephew says Dolly is now in the arms of Jesus. Dolly Parton was 80. Darlene Graham is one step closer to filling the U.S. Senate seat that was held by her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham. After winning the GOP Senate runoff in South Carolina, she's now focusing on November's general election.
Liberals believe if they can defeat conservatives in South Carolina, then they can defeat us anywhere. Once again, they're coming for us, and the South Carolina values we hold dear.
She's been endorsed by President Trump. Republicans are preparing a major showcase for their agenda, the party's upcoming midterm convention in Dallas.
The two-day event will feature President Trump twice, a keynote from Vice President J.D. Vance, and 109 speakers and presentations. Organizers say the program will highlight reshoring jobs, tax relief, affordability, border security, and tough-on-crime policies, including provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Moments of remembrance will also be planned. A 20,000-ticket lottery remains open, with winners notified September 4th. Jason Walker reporting.
A key inflation gauge held steady last month, 3.7%. On Wall Street, the Dow down 97 points, NASDAQ off 44. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Full speed into summer, and if you're thinking about buying a home this year, here's what you need to do first. Get pre-qualified, not once you found the house, now before you even start looking. Here's why. In this market, houses sell in days, sometimes hours. The buyers who win aren't the ones with the highest offer. They're the ones already approved, ready to move, with a lender who can actually close. If you're not pre-qualified, you're a week behind. Maybe that house is gone. Well, I want to tell you about Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, my friends Mike and Brian, guys that I've worked with, they've built Fellowship around one thing, getting loans done with unique situations. They use programs and options that typical lenders don't take the time to explore. Down payment solutions that fit the way people actually live. Everything's done in-house, one roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. Get pre-qualified today. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G or call 800-510-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
This hour of Newstalk STL brought to you by Window World of St. Louis. For replacement windows, doors, and siding, call 800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 800-GET-WINDOWS. From the Newstalk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking temperatures back towards the lower 70s this morning. Few isolated showers and storms mainly southeast of the metropolitan area, areas to the northwest. Remain dry till we head towards the late afternoon, early evening hours. Some spotty showers and storms look to flare up, some of which could see some winds up to 60 miles per hour and some hail up to 1 inch in diameter. I think most of us, though, not going to be expecting that. That'll continue to progress its way to the southeast with a cold front throughout the overnight hours. A high of 91 degrees today and back towards mid-80s and sunshine tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom fighters. That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
Yeah, you do whatever you want, Tim.
And the other thing I've been waiting to do this. Been waiting to do this all morning. And whoosh, my morning people.
Whoosh, whoosh.
It is a double whoosh Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tim Jones here. I'm your afternoon guy, along with my buddy Chris Harps. We, of course, do the evening drive every day from 4 to 6 p.m. here at Newstalk STL. And we're one big happy family. So anytime we need to move the pegs around on the game board and help each other out, we do that. And so I'm here on the mid-morning show with my good buddy, my longtime friend, Ken Williams. We used to do a little Sunday show together on a different station, on a different time, on a different planet.
Oh, yeah.
In a different universe. And we're all here now at Newstalk STL. very excited to be on the Vic Porcelli Show today, filling in for Vic. Vic will be back tomorrow, and I am a listener of the station, like we all are, as well as participating in it and contributing without the other programs. So I feel like I know a lot of Vic's guests intimately because there's just certain times during the week. Ken, everybody's got listening habits, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you look, I try to listen to as much of the other programming here as possible because I learn something, and I can steal stuff, to use later in the day.
Heck yeah.
And for whatever reason, there's certain guests that I catch almost every week. I guess it's my listening habits, right?
Right.
I hear Karen Cataline a lot. I hear our buddy from Daily Signal a lot.
Oh, Rob Bluey.
Rob Bluey.
And Tony Kinnett.
And I hear our next guest almost every week as well.
Drew Allen of the Drew Allen Show podcast.
It's people who love this country and respect freedom and want to preserve it for the future. It really shouldn't be political.
Amico mio, come stai?
Ciao, buongiorno, Ciccio. Sono molto contento.
You guys have the best intros, too. So, Drew Thomas Allen joining us once again on the Vic Porcelli Show. Drew, good morning to you. I feel like we're brothers from another mother because you know how when you hear somebody every week, week in, week out, you feel like you've got some kind of connection to them, even if you've never met them before. Some people may call that stalkers, but, I call them buddies.
Oh, yeah, well, I like that. I'll steal that. And I feel like I won the lottery getting to come on this show on my day off. I mean, it's such a privilege. Thank you.
That is indeed. And Drew, Vic and I share a lot in common, even though we're two very different people. But, he's got the obvious Italian last name. Mine not so much with Jones, but my mother is Italian. So that's another affinity I have for you and for Vic. So, buongiorno, indeed.
Don't tell me you speak more Italian than Vic.
I do not. I do not. No. You and I know you've got us both beat. So no, I know bits and phrases here and there. But my grandfather, 100% Italian, immigrated over here legally back in the actually my great grandfather in the 1880s, and then he brought my grandfather and some of the uncles over, my great uncles in the 1930s. So we've been on my mom's side been here quite a bit. The Joneses, I think we came over on the Mayflower, or maybe even before. I don't know. So there you have it. That's my history.
Oh, man. Well, I'm jealous of both of you because I don't have a drop of Italian blood in my body, but I do speak Italian. But,
very
impressive. I guess you can only have one or the other.
Very impressive. So, Drew, I know that you are a esteemed author as well as all of the speechifying and talking you do, and you've got a great book out for Christ and Country, The Martyrdom of Charlie Kirk. And, Drew, what I want to start off with was by mentioning to folks that, unfortunately, we have a very unfortunate one-year commemoration coming up. I bet you're thinking quite a bit about it. The one year commemoration of losing Charlie Kirk. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because my life changed a year ago, and I didn't even know Charlie personally. I did PR for his second to last book, Right Wing Revolution, but I didn't know him. And obviously, Erica and his kids and all his close friends and associates, they felt something different and profound too. But just me as kind of a layperson, I just look back on how I felt in that moment and how I cried for a week and, how close to home it hit. I had never experienced a loss like that. And it was really confusing to me because, like I said, I didn't know him. I mean, the older you get, the more people around you die. And, it started this kind of process of trying to understand why it affected me so much. And, part of that exploration became the book. But, he was such I don't think that, I'll speak for myself, but I know I've heard this from others too that are in the game like we are. But I didn't realize how important he was while he was alive. Mm-hmm. And in a strange way, and I hate to say it, but his influence is almost even bigger after his death. But I think that is kind of complementary to the fact that, he really was a giant and a martyr.
Drew, you're so correct. At this time, it was when we were up in Zion visiting my daughter up in Utah, and we were in St. George, I believe, at the time of his murder. And you know what shocked me about it all, Drew, is that, and this was the first time I really realized it about the Democrats, the left. They were polled. 44% at that time said that they think that there is validation in murdering someone for the greater good of their party. 44% of the people polled on the left.
Yeah, and those numbers are similar to. I remember when Brian Thompson, I believe was his name, the CEO of the healthcare company that was gunned down in New York City. There were polls there too that were really troubling because Democrats, by and large, led the way in terms of support for political violence. If they thought it was for a worthy cause, and so, there's a trend here. I mean, my reflection on the last year is a lot of frustration too, gentlemen, because I thought for sure that we were going to deal with the elephant in the room, which was left-wing violence in this country, an ideology that lends itself to this type of hatred and vilification that ultimately resulted in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And instead, we had a bunch of distraction. The left pretty much got away with it. They weren't forced to look in the mirror. They weren't forced to finally atone for anything, to bring down the temperature in the room because they're the ones always raising it. It didn't happen, and it still hasn't happened, as a matter of fact. And we've had additional attempts, assassination attempts on Trump and people at the Correspondents' Dinner since Charlie Kirk died. And in some ways, nothing's changed. Everything's changed maybe in the way, I've been activated in a way I wasn't even before. I think there are thousands, if not millions, of people like me who were profoundly impacted by Charlie Kirk's death, and it had the opposite effect, right? It didn't scare me, actually, that Charlie Kirk died. It sort of freed me to, be my best self, I guess, and to not care, to fear God more than the condemnation of man, I guess, is kind of what happened to me.
Yeah, Drew, I want to drill down a little deeper into what you just said there. By the way, folks, speaking with Drew Thomas Allen, he's at Drew Thomas Allen on Twitter X. He is the VP of Client Development at Publius PR, editor of the Publius National Post, columnist, and he joins us here every week on the Vic Porcelli Show. We're talking about a lot of things, but Drew, one of the things about your book, For Christ and Country, The Martyrdom of Charlie Kirk, one of the taglines in reference to that book is that the book is a prophetic indictment of a culture that calls good evil, evil good, and hatred justice. And Drew, we were just talking about that in our previous segments. Ken and I we're calling women men and men women, right? We're calling Jew haters and anti-Semites somehow freedom fighters in the future of the Democratic Party. I mean, we're still in this upside down world, and I wonder how many people realize this is no longer a battle between the old Republican and the old Democratic Party. It's honestly a battle here in the United States and around the world between good and evil itself, between civilization and communist chaos, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at its core, it really is a spiritual battle. The entire foundation of the United States of America, I know that the left has made a great and successful effort over decades to convince people that, the separation of church and state here in this country, and that, this isn't a Christian country. It's, just built on Judeo-Christian values. It's not true. It actually is a Christian nation. That doesn't mean we're a theocracy, but you wouldn't have the freedoms we have without the Christian faith that came with it. And, I think, this is a majority Christian nation. And, if we were all activated and lived authentic Christian lives instead of kind of the secular ones that we see out there, flying the pride flag outside church and, preaching things that went against Scripture, we'd be an unstoppable force. And so, a spiritual revival in this country, a renaissance, really would help us, prevent the left and the communists, which are godless, right? I mean, power, that is their God. We really couldn't be beaten. We wouldn't be at this point in which we're actually contemplating, the dangerous, threat that they pose to us today. And so it is good versus evil. And of course, Charlie always talked about a transcendent power. And, that kind of reins us in, right? Like we don't invent morality. We don't shape it, right? We believe that, the unborn life is sacred. So it's not a decision based on convenience for us where, well, I don't want the baby because I don't feel like dealing with a baby, so therefore it's a clump of cells.
Yeah, it's not a political decision. It's a decision based, as you said, in reality, in culture, in theology, in spirit.
Exactly. And I think that you're not gonna fix all the problems in this country with politics alone. That's an instrument, a lever that we have to utilize. but it's bigger than that. And that's why, that was a big realization after Charlie Kirk died too, is, really embracing the fact as a Christian man that we are engaged in a spiritual war above all,
Drew, I think I totally agree with that, because if you listen to the left, they do it very deviously. They try to move us away from Christianity and being a Christian nation. In fact, they've been doing it for quite a while. Listen to what Barack Obama said back in the day.
We are no longer a Christian nation. We do not consider ourselves a Christian nation. The United States has been enriched by Muslim Americans.
So we have to be really, I guess, we have to be very concerned about what's happening, but at the same time, we have to listen very closely to what they say, because if you listen closely, they'll tell you what they're up to.
Well, yeah, and if you don't listen closely, you wake up and you don't recognize where you are. I mean, for example, socialism used to be a dirty word. Everyone was ashamed to say that. They wouldn't run as an avowed socialist. They'd hide it, even if they were. Well, now we're at a point where socialists openly run, and the next thing, 5 years from now, will be they'll be running as communists, and that'll be accepted as normal as well. But, for the separation of church and state crowd, right, that preaches this on the left, I mean, they don't really mean that, because look at James Tallarico. Look at these others. They use scripture and quote it more often than anyone else. They want to bastardize it and use it to further their open border causes, et cetera. So they don't mean that at all. But that's the thing, right? It's like it's Saul Alinsky tactic, right? You make the enemy live up to their own rules, but they don't hold themselves by any standard or set of rules whatsoever, right? They're the rule makers and rule breakers.
Mm-hmm. Speaking with Drew Thomas Allen. Drew, is it too late for the Democratic Party? Like we've been playing a couple clips of some actual sitting congressmen who are starting to realize that maybe they should have said something like a year or two ago about the rise of this hate and this violent rhetoric, and put into action, unfortunately, many times, this anti-Semitism, this anti-Americanism, this foundational principalism that we're seeing. Let's pack the court. Let's shred the Constitution. Let's end the Electoral College.
The big tent.
Yeah, just so we could have a big tent and gain power. Drew, is it too late for the Democratic Party? I know none of us want to get too deep into the heads of Democrats, but you're starting to see some Democratic leaders actually speak up against this.
Yeah, you're hearing it here and there, and then you've got people like Hillary Clinton that are open to it, and others that say things like, this is just a big experiment we're trying, in the country right now to see if they can win. And it's funny because the left, the only experiment they won't try is the original American experiment. That's the one they hate. But no, it's too late for the Democrat Party. And historically, look, I'm not saying all Democrat voters are always bad people. We're all flawed sinners, okay? But the Democrat Party, from its very inception, has been a party that was sort of had a rotten core. They went from the party of slavery, and then you come forward to, civil rights movement. They opposed that. And then you have LBJ with the myth of the big switch, where he says, oh, all of a sudden, we support, blacks and, the Republicans who've been trying for 50 years, obstructed by us, to, champion black rights. Well, now they're all of a sudden the racists. This is what they do because it's always about power for them. And so the Democrat Party doesn't have a set of principles that hold it. We're going through this struggle ourselves with the Republican Party with a bunch of fake, people who claim to be, the original MAGA people and the Marjorie Taylor Greens, et cetera, out there that are trying to manipulate us. But the point is, we have standards. And so you can't come in as a Republican and overnight change your opinion on abortion from, safe, legal, and rare, as the Democrats did, to Massachusetts, where they're having infanticide. And the Democrat voter simply says, okay, well, I'm a Democrat, so yeah, yesterday I was opposed to abortion, or I only supported limited abortion, but today the party changed, so now I support infanticide. That doesn't happen with us because we're actually better people.
Mm-hmm. Drew, is there hope still for America? Are people realizing that people, especially people who are in the traditional Democratic voting blocks? I played a clip yesterday on our afternoon show that I usually co-host, and it was Harry Enton, CNN's political pollster, and he was pointing out that over the last 12 years, they like to call them on CNN. They like to call them white, non-college educated, which in real the way real people would speak about that, Drew, they would say blue collar Americans, right? So blue collar Americans between 2012 and 2026 have left the Democratic Party, have a negative approval of the Democratic Party, to minus 34%. So now that Trump's got the border closed, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully it stays that way, but we don't know what the next administration is going to do. But, okay, he's got the border closed, so we've cut off that political supply to the Democratic Party. And the Democrats are doing a really good job of pissing off a lot of the traditional voting blocs, blue-collar workers, and even amongst minorities, Hispanic Americans, Black Americans, a lot of them fleeing the Democratic Party, but no more than blue-collar Americans. So we're going through, the Democratic Party especially, is going through a horrible situation right now. Is America as its whole starting to realize that party is not the party to vote for if you want to keep the country we have?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we have maybe the greatest opportunity politically to create change in this country than we've had certainly in my lifetime. But there's also a danger to it, and that's you've got all these disaffected people that are looking for a new home, and in that comes the Tucker Carlson crowd and everything else that's trying to take advantage of that, great shift, migration, if you will, to try and suck them up as well. To go against actually the best interest of the country. And so it's really important right now that, especially as kind of the Trump era fades to an end over the next couple of years and there has to be a successor, it's so important that we really, really dig deep as conservatives and explain clearly what we stand for so that someone can't come in and, turn us into like the Democrat Party light. That's a big challenge ahead, and I think we need to take it seriously.
Could not agree more. Drew Thomas Allen, our guest here this morning on the Vic Porcelli Show. He's at Drew Thomas Allen on Twitter X. He does so many things. One of the things he does is write books. He's got a great one out, a timely one, considering the unfortunate one-year commemoration we have coming up of Charlie Kirk's assassination. For Christ and Country, the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk. Touches a lot of different subjects, many of which we touched on today. Drew, it was an honor and a privilege to speak with you today, my friend. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Same. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Have a good one, Drew.
You as well. Love me some Drew Thomas Allen every week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's been with us, one of the longest guests we've had in the last 5 years.
It's the birdhouse in my soul.
Oh, yeah.
To reference a previous conversation. When we come back, we're going to shift gears to talking about public policy efforts on the state level. What should the Missouri legislature be thinking about as it considers what to file when bill filing begins on December 1st, not that far away? What are other states working on? My very good friend Jonathan Williams, the president and chief economist of the American Legislative Exchange Council, a great group that I do some work for here in Missouri and in the Midwest, joins us next on the Vic Porcelli Show. A very happy Double Woosh Wednesday to all you Vic heads out there. We'll be right back at 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Cisco Systems and Cyber Bastion, a diaspora-owned small business.
On News Talk STL.
Your trees do a lot for you. Shade, beauty, curb appeal, but are they safe? Clever Tree Service has been protecting St. Louis homes and landscapes for over 20 years. Pruning, trimming, removal, stump grinding, even 24/7 emergency storm service. Fully insured, eco-friendly, and always focused on you. From Kirkwood to Chesterfield, Webster Groves to Wildwood, your neighbors trust Clever Tree Service. Visit clevertreeservice.com for your free quote today.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Larry Barron, he's with the group Power the Future.
90% of the world's rare earth minerals that go into solar panels are dominated by China. So in order for them to get all those billions of dollars of your taxpayer money, they need to build more coal plants so that they can then use slave labor to build those solar panels, and so that we can all feel better at ribbon cuttings here in the United States.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
News Talk STL. News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Forget about it.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Keep on learning. Soldier. Keep on roaring.
Welcome back to the Vic Porcelli Show. Tim Jones in for Vic today. Ken by my side here, taking you through the mid-morning hours. A little bit of a different time for me to be here, but I often appear on the show on Wednesdays, and I didn't have to interview myself today, which was nice.
I just thought, I made sure that wouldn't happen.
We had Drew Thomas Allen on, great guy who's on here almost every week on the Vic Porcelli Show, and a very good friend of mine who you hear often on our program, Chris Harps and I's program in the afternoon, joins us now. Jonathan Williams, President and Chief Economist of the American Legislative Exchange Council. ALEC.org is where you can find him. ALEC.org joins us now to talk about state public policy and more. Jonathan, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, good morning, my friend. As always, greetings from the land of make-believe out here in Washington, D.C.
Indeed. Jonathan, before we get into the states, since you do have to suffer through everything that goes on up there in the land of make-believe, let's talk a little bit about what Congress is or maybe not doing. They're on a 1-month vacation, but maybe, Jonathan, that's a good thing, given what we've seen coming out of Congress the last few years.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it is interesting. We've got some great friends up here, obviously, people like Dr. Bob Onder and Eric Burleson and great Missouri delegation. We've got some great people fighting a good fight. Unfortunately, the numbers are just a little bit short on some of these big picture conservative reforms that we all know need to happen, such as balancing our budget and doing so many other things that we need to do at a federal level, securing American election policy, all those things that get talked about. And one thing that I think, and I've talked about this, Tim, is sometimes Americans, watching it, you look at D.C. and they think, hey, Republicans run D.C. is the current way of thinking. And in some respect, I mean, you just look at the basic numbers, and that's true. However, what a lot of people don't remember is in the U.S. Senate, you don't pass things with simple majority. And you need to get to 60 votes in the U.S. Senate under the filibuster rules to be able to pass anything substantial outside of what they call budget reconciliation, which we won't go into the purposes of making sure we don't put people to sleep this time of the morning. But that being said, though, I mean, it is a high hurdle, and you need to get many Democrat votes, and you have to keep some of those Republicans who maybe aren't always on the side of conservative ideas on the same picture. And so, that's what's created this gridlock here in Washington. Speaker Mike Johnson in the House has been doing amazing, even with their very small margins, passing conservative reforms. And then it goes to the Senate, where we have a good cadre of conservatives, and you've got a couple people like Eric Schmidt's been a great friend for a long time, doing some good things in the Senate there, except that they can't get to that 60-vote threshold to pass really the game-changer style policy that I think most Americans want to see right now. And so that's part of the frustration. The outside observer thinks, hey, Republicans can't get things together here in Washington, and they forget about that 60-vote threshold. And clearly people like Chuck Schumer from New York, the Democrat leader, are not doing any favors to help President Trump or Republican majorities right now because of the election coming up. And obviously, they probably don't want to see conservative victories anyways, regardless of the election timing for people like Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, and Jonathan, not only do you have that 60-vote threshold that I think the media often glosses past, I think on purpose, and doesn't bring up, they just say, well, why aren't Republicans getting anything done? Well, if Republicans had 60 Republicans in the Senate, you'd see a lot more legislation moving. So it is a numbers game. But in addition to that, Jonathan, there is Donald Trump named it. It is the swamp, right? You've got this bureaucracy up there, this administrative bloat, this administrative state. And their goal is to also make sure that government reform doesn't happen because, hey, that doesn't go along with maybe their future prospects for continuing to expand the administrative state.
Well, that's right. And, the administrative state is real at the federal and the state level. That's why, from an ALEC perspective, we've been such a big fan at addressing it substantially. People like Mike Lee have been leading the charge up here in the U.S. Senate for a long time. But at the state level, we're seeing some good gains. Missouri's been, discussing this in Jeff City on things like the REINS Act to say, hey, the legislative branch should have more control over major rules before they're adopted. Thankfully, we had some great Supreme Court rulings in recent terms on ruling that the agencies can't have unlimited deference and we shouldn't automatically defer to the unelected bureaucrats. And so we're making some really good gains on that front. There's a whole lot more to be done. Tim, one of the things that's important to mention just to talk about the state of play in Washington here, we just barreled past this threshold of $40 trillion of national debt. It's been getting a ton of attention. It's something that we at ALEC have been warning about for many, many years. Obviously, Joe Biden hit the gas pedal as hard as it would go on spending that drove a lot of the inflation and a lot of these debt issues that we're dealing with right now. However, one thing that also needs to be restated is, it's 75 or 80% of the current budget is off the books, meaning that our great members of Congress who are trying to do the right thing and get spending under control don't have the ability to tackle that because it's what they is called entitlement spending, right? Things that are off budget, that the normal order of passing a budget and trying to get spending under control, you don't tackle those things because they're essentially on autopilot. And that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to arrest this growth in spending and debt, is that there's so much outside of the hands of the folks that are trying to do the right thing, like Eric Burlison and Bob Onder here in Congress. And so that's something I think it's not going to happen pre-election, but I think we need to have a real national discussion to say how much of this budget should just be on this autopilot, because we're taking this train to a really dangerous place in terms of 40, 50, $60 trillion of national debt coming in the not so distant future.
Speaking with Jonathan Williams, he is the president and chief economist at ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC.org. I'm very proud to work alongside ALEC, as I have for nearly 2 decades now, doing a lot of work with them in the private sector. Jonathan, let's talk about the states, because the states, even though they're better generally than the federal government when it comes to spending and budgets, they also have problems of their own, right, that are automatically on autopilot. Like, Jonathan, don't most states have requirements, entitlement spending requirements that I know in Missouri, it's upwards of a third or more of our budget as to Medicaid spending. There's a lot of requirements in many states as to the levels of education spending. I'm not saying education spending is bad, but a lot of times, Jonathan, right, the education establishment just says, give us as many billions of dollars as possible, but don't expect any accountability or any results. So these issues are also seen in a microcosm on the state level too, aren't they?
Well, that's right. I mean, you talk to state budget writers, great men and women who serve as ALEC members in the 50 state capitals, and they have similar frustrations. The dollars are smaller, and sometimes not as large of a percentage of the state budgets are on autopilot, but you still have that dynamic. And so obviously one of the things that we've talked about for a long time at ALEC is just getting back to a priority-based budget discussion to say, let's just not take last year's budget and argue over the percentage increase. Let's have a look under the hood and actually ask the fundamental question, should we be doing these things? And how much should they cost? And how much do we know that success looks like, right? I mean, how do we know what success looks like? If you got small business owners, I'm sure a lot of them listening to the show right now, asking themselves the question, how long would they be in business if they couldn't answer that question? What does success look like? And oftentimes, folks at the government budgeting side don't ask that question nearly enough. And so that's what we're pushing for at the state levels. We've got to get outside of this budgeting as usual, because it's not the friend of us as fiscal conservatives. We need to get debt and spending under control at all levels of government. It's the major driver of this inflation and some of the affordability concerns. Certainly the affordability concerns are worse in many of the big blue liberal states right now. I know our good friend Steve Moore just put out in his Hotline newsletter this morning, the states ranked by cost of living index, and the highest cost of living states driven by big spending Hawaii, California, Massachusetts, and New York. And then you add in Washington, D.C. What do those states and D.C. have in common? Lots of big bloated government spending. The other side of the equation, you have states like Oklahoma, Mississippi, West Virginia, Alabama, Kansas, being much more frugal. And so at least at the state level, we can get it there, that decision being made around spending. People can figure out, hey, we want to vote with our feet, move to a state that has a more frugal government that keeps taxes lower. And that's the beauty of federalism, obviously.
Yeah, Jonathan, people always say, well, what are you going to cut out of the budget? What could we possibly cut? Shouldn't we flip that question around and say, why don't we have zero-based budgeting in the states? I know ALEC has talked about this a lot. Versus asking what should or should not cut, why don't we flip the question around and ask, well, what should we spend taxpayer dollars on?
Well, that's exactly right. And that's kind of what this whole exercise around priority-based budgeting is why are we spending the money that we're currently spending? What are we getting for it? And because most Americans don't mind, having some taxes to fund reasonable government services, they just want to know they're getting a good return on their investment for their tax dollars, right? And so we look working to eliminate income taxes and keep property taxes under control, but realize that having a small, responsible, accountable government where people understand where their tax dollars is going, that's a key element of what we do at ALEC. And, how you get there, of course, is putting a cap on the overall debt and spending levels, such as a really meaningful state balanced budget amendment or things like Colorado has done, even if it's politically gone far left recently. As you know, they have in their state constitution a limit on the growth of government.
Yes.
And it's still there after 30 years, which is an incredible concept that really empowers taxpayers as part of these discussions.
Yeah, indeed. Jonathan, let's talk about Missouri. We have a little bit of legislative action for the end of the year. We have an annual veto session. There won't be a lot of activity there. It's more perfunctory this year. But then December 1st, which is, that's 3 months away. Legislators will start filing bills. And Jonathan, one of the things that you at ALEC were involved in with all of us here in Missouri was taking a look at an elimination of Missouri's income tax. And even though there was a proposal on the ballot that didn't do well at all, it was elimination of the income tax and a lot of other visionary proposals. And what I heard from voters, especially on the center-right side of the philosophical fence, was, hey, I'm all for eliminating the income tax. I just wasn't sure about how this whole plan would work. So perhaps, Jonathan, the legislature should immediately take those reactions and go, okay, well, it sounds like a majority of Missourians want to eliminate the income tax, so let's do it statutorily. Let's get right back at it. No reason why Missourians who have elected a supermajority of fiscal conservatives with the Missouri Republican Party, why they shouldn't go back and take a different look at eliminating the income tax like so many of our neighboring states are doing.
No, that's exactly right. And, I think that when you look at probably the biggest objection to that point is, people don't want to see the deck chairs rearranged on a sinking ship. They want to see actual reductions in the government size, right, and the reductions in tax burden. And so I think when you get measures the way that they're worded and saying, hey, we're going to shift the tax burden elsewhere, people get nervous and to some extent, rightfully so, that property taxes would go up or sales taxes would go up. And they want to see the size and scope of government to be restrained, right? And just as we were talking about with Colorado's Taxpayer Bill of Rights, our good friend Jim Murphy, I thought, led a valiant effort that passed the House overwhelmingly to put a Taxpayer Bill of Rights spending limit into Missouri, right? To say, let's take this concept that's worked and let's take the fears off the table to say, yes, we should work on eliminating the income tax because it's the right thing to do for economic growth reasons, to grow Missouri population and business growth and job growth, all the other virtues that come with being a no-income tax state. But you do it in a responsible way to make sure that you get to those fears and say, yes, we're going to put a cap in place on government spending and growth to make sure government just doesn't redistribute that tax burden elsewhere. That's the key. I mean, and Tim, you and I have talked about this. The 8 states that go without an income tax in the average year spend between 50 and 60% less per person on an equal basis than the states with income taxes. So it's clear that they don't just rearrange the deck chairs and raise spending and taxes elsewhere. They keep government limited, which powers this ability for them to be a no-income tax growth state.
Indeed. And these are the policies Missouri should pursue. ALEC's got the framework for it at alec.org. We've been speaking with Jonathan Williams, the author of Rich States, Poor States, the president and chief economist of the American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC.org. Jonathan, thanks so much for weighing in with us this morning. I know we're going to be speaking with you plenty as we approach the 2027 state legislative sessions in Missouri and across the nation.
Looking forward to it. Take care, my friend.
Thank you. You take care as well. Next up, we're going to speak with another friend of the show, Michele Steeb, the CEO of the Free Up Foundation, author of Answers Behind the Red Door, Battling the Homeless Epidemic. Who said conservatives don't care? We care more than anyone. And we're going to Michelle's going to explain to us how and why when we come back on the Vic Porcelli Show. 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Cool, honey bunny. Be cool.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com.
Producer Joey V from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show here, reminding you don't waste a buck on movies that suck. Tune in to Joey V's Movies Fridays at 5:45 for reviews you can trust. Brought to you by Harry J. Steakhouse, Freddy's Market, 21 Recycling, and Perk It Up Coffee House.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
Fox News commentary with Tommy Lahren. Next.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you. Would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that, with no high-pressure sales and thousands of five-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Tommy Lahren reacts to far-left influencer Hassan Piker mocking Charlie Kirk's murder.
There's a lot of Democrats that I don't agree with, a lot of Democrat influencers like Hassan Piker, but I would never do anything as disgusting as celebrate or mock their assassination. So when the Democrats tell you that they have to bring people like this into the fold because they have a big tent, behold your big tent. This is what your big tent is. This isn't something that he did when he was 15 years old. This is him now. This is just on track with many of the disgusting things that he's done and said in his career, whether it's for attention and clicks and views or whether he is just that purely vile and disgusting, doesn't matter. This is what the Democrat big tent looks like. So either the Democrats need to figure out what's in their tent and do some cleaning, or they need to look at the American people and say, this is what we're okay with, because you can't do both.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hi, this is Joe DeVito, and you're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL. We've already had our 2-drink minimum. How about you?
Welcome back to the Vic Porcelli Show. Tim Jones in the big chair for Vic today. He'll be back tomorrow. check out our program. Chris Harps and I run the Evening Drive here at News Talk STL. We're on every afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
And, Tim, coming up, I just want to let everybody know that for Vic for Vets today, we have a very special presentation.
Yes, we have a lot of commemorations and memorializations coming up in the next few weeks, and one of those is today. So you're going to want to listen to us at 11:05, where we do our monthly. Is it monthly right now?
No, we do weekly now.
Weekly Vic for Vets. We have an honored veteran of the week,
Yes.
right? And we have honored veterans of the day as well. Very important day today. Some of you are probably realizing what this anniversary, it's hard to call it an anniversary. That's usually a happy thing.
I just call it a remembrance.
A commemoration, a remembrance, indeed. Let's get to our next guest, though. Before that, her name is Michele Steeb. She is the CEO of the Free Up Foundation, freeupfoundation.com, the author of Answers Behind the Red Door, Battling the Homeless Epidemic. Michele, thanks for joining us here this morning on News Talk STL.
Oh, I'm so glad to be with you guys. Thank you.
So, Michele, remind our audience, tell our audience, what does the Free Up Foundation do that you run?
Well, thank you for the question. Just for a little background, I spent 13 years building and running Northern California's largest program for homeless women and children. From there, wrote a book on, this was back in the early 2020 decade, and wrote a book on the nation's crisis. It's gotten so much worse, but back then it was a very looming crisis, and just out of frustration with policymakers who were seeing the failed results of homelessness policy, on our streets and destroying business communities. Free Up, a group of colleagues that also ran programs, restorative and programs from the front lines for the homeless population. We started Free Up to help regions across the country reverse their homelessness crisis within 5 years. So we've got a model that scales really quickly, that's very cost effective, and able to be deployed within months versus years, which is usually what it takes government to get a homelessness program up and running. So that's a little bit about Free Up.
Mm-hmm. Michele, there's homelessness in California? I thought our nation's largest welfare state would have cured all that by now, because they know how to spend billions and billions of dollars, but maybe they're not spending it on the right things.
Yeah, so California is the only state in the nation to have, in 2016, followed the federal government in this approach to homelessness that they instituted, the federal government instituted in 2013, called Housing First. And what that really means is we give everyone who's struggling with homelessness a house for life with no conditions for sobriety, no conditions for engaging in treatment for issues that often accompany homelessness, largely mental illness and addiction, no requirement to work ever. And this policy was rolled out, like I said, at the federal level in 2013. President Obama, who rolled it out, promised it would end homelessness in a decade. 12 years, 13 years almost later, we're at the nation's highest point ever recorded in homelessness, almost 35% increase. California, which adopted this failed approach in 2016, homelessness went up by 40% in California. And it's just been a massive failure. But California continues to cling to it. Thankfully, this administration under President Trump is trying to change this massively failed policy. They're being blocked in a very favorable court by the homeless industrial complex. So they're really trying to get money to flow, more money than ever before to flow, though, towards not housing subsidies only, but treatment and the requirement of treatment when the taxpayers place you in, taxpayer-funded housing. So these are changes that are so positive, so needed. and like I said, the homeless industrial complex is desperately trying to block those changes with the help of Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and others who continue to cling to this policy that has just destroyed people and communities across the country.
Michele, homelessness is such a cash cow for Gavin Newsom and everybody in California. I mean, he's been saying every time he goes to get elected, I'm going to fight to end homelessness. And I mean, he literally says end homelessness, yet since he has taken office for the first time, homelessness is up 35%. Now, legislators are actually doing things 40%.
Like...
Is it 40% now?
Yeah, 40%, yeah.
So I think I got an earlier number, but what they're saying, though, is that they want to have now little bitty houses for them. They're going to enable them, but the whole thing about drug addiction and all that, they're going to let that set aside. They don't even want to mess with that. They just want to put them in little houses and say, okay, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what Housing First policy is. And I will just tell you, 4 weeks ago, that the program I ran for 13 years, one of our graduates reached out to me and she said, I have some good news. And I said, really, tell me. And she, as a single mother in California, just became a homeowner. And let me tell you where she came from. When Juliana came to us in 2017, she nearly had lost custody of her kids. She lost her job. She lost everything due to an addiction to meth. And slowly but surely, we helped her heal, address her addiction, and get back on her feet, including placing her in employment. She's with that same employer, only she has gotten 4 promotions since. And as a single mother in California, which is an incredible feat, right? It's an incredible feat in California to become a homeowner. But as a single mother who's climbed up from the depths of despair, she just bought for her and her 2 sons a beautiful home that I got to visit a couple of weeks ago. So, this kind of recovery and restoration is 1,000% possible. We did it a million times over at the program I ran. It's not often a linear path. There's twists and turns, but we should start with that becoming the goal, not being housed. Housing is an outcome of restoration and recovery.
Yes.
That's how we should be looking at it.
Yeah, and Michele, isn't that what this particular federal administration, this White House administration is focused on, also at the Housing and Urban Development Department? By the way, folks, speaking with Michele Steeb, CEO of Free Up Foundation, freeupfoundation.com, michellesteeb.com. Michele, this administration is trying to do exactly what you just said. It's trying to not just give a bunch of handouts. It's trying to solve the problem, and that's hard, and that's a whole seismic shift in how government does things, right?
Oh, 1,000%. And what we call it at Free Up, what I've called it for many years, is we need a human first approach, right? I just shared Juliana's story. Had Juliana, and she will say this 1,000 times over, had our program just given her a house and with no conditions, she would not be. She would have lost custody of her kids. She probably would be dead. She wouldn't be a homeowner today, because you've got to really treat the human being first and all the issues that they're struggling with. Right? It's largely mental illness and addiction. Addiction was a factor in Juliana's case, but she was also in very violent relationships that created trauma for her that she needed to heal from. Her boys needed to heal from, nearly being ripped from her custody multiple times, right? So you've got to treat the human being. And then when you do that, and when they are given a path to, to being what they were meant to be, right? What God, or if you don't believe in God, right, what their human potential is, when you put them on that path, they will get there on their own. And that's what the system that the Trump administration is trying to institute. That is what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. But like I said earlier, they're being blocked by the homeless industrial complex, who has a huge vested interest in continuing this massively failed system, which is crazy, right? It's crazy. They're looking at the same streets we're looking at. They're looking at the same death rate. The death rate amongst the homeless population under Housing First has gone up over 77%. They're looking at these same numbers, and that they can look at themselves in the mirror and continue to defend this. I don't have the words.
Mm-hmm. Michele, as you just identified, this is not just a California problem. This is not just a Washington, D.C. problem. It's an American problem. We have homeless here in Missouri. Our station is used to be downtown city of St. Louis. We're now in what's called the county of St. Louis, about 20 minutes from downtown. And so we see the homeless in and around the entire St. Louis region. What can states like Missouri, people think, red state, flyover country, they don't have a homeless problem, do they? We say, oh, yes, we do. Pretty much every state does.
Blue cities.
And with the blue cities. So, Michele, what can states like Missouri be looking at as far as solving this homeless crisis?
Yeah, the number one thing they need to do is jump on board with the Trump administration and getting these reforms passed. The advocates, in the First Circuit Court, and it's a Rhode Island court that keeps holding up these reforms. So, get your attorney general involved, advocate for these reforms. Number two, once these reforms are instituted and with any state taxpayer money that you can use, put treatment programs in place, right? Under Housing First, we decimated treatment programs because there was no money, no reason to build treatment programs when we were giving the homeless the option of whether or not they were going to pursue treatment. So we need to rebuild a treatment recovery-focused system that has been largely decimated. Then you can start clearing encampments. But I'll tell you, Gavin Newsom was the first one when the Supreme Court gave jurisdictions the go-ahead to clear encampments. He was the first one to do that, but there's no places for them to go in California and get treatment. Zero. And that's absolutely the wrong, the steps need to be help get these reforms passed, build, treatment programs for the homeless, and then start clearing encampments using civil commitment when necessary, meaning mandating people who are too sick to understand how sick they are, mandating treatment for them, and then you're going to start to see these reforms take hold in communities. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Michele. We got to go. We got a hard break. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
FreeUpFoundation.com. Ken and I will be back right away with a very special Vic for Vets here at 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Woosh, woosh.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet. I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with this free call. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A top U.S. intelligence official just made a rare visit to Russia. The details from correspondent Willie Nelson.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe traveled to Moscow on a previously unannounced trip. Ratcliffe's plane spent several hours on the ground in the Russian capital before departing. It is his first visit to Moscow since taking office and the highest level trip by a Trump administration official to Russia this year. Ukrainian officials were informed of the visit. Analysts say Ratcliffe may have delivered a message from the administration. Willie Nelson, Washington.
The Fed's preferred inflation gauge shows core prices rose 3.3% annually in the month of July. Here's correspondent Bernie Bennett.
Prices consumers pay for a variety of goods and services rose slightly in July, according to the Federal Reserve's main inflation gauge. The Commerce Department reported Wednesday that the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, which the Fed uses as its preferred forecasting tool, increased the seasonally adjusted 0.2% for the month, putting the annual inflation rate at 3.7%. Both were 0.1 percentage points above the Dow Jones consensus. The report also shows that personal income rose 0.4%, while spending increased 0.2%, both stronger than expected. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Minnesota wants Texas to extradite an ICE agent who's charged with shooting a man in Minnesota.
If a judge does not intervene, an ICE agent charged with the shooting of a man in Minnesota could be released from a South Texas jail. Minnesota wants Agent Christian Castro extradited after he allegedly fired his gun through a house door, striking a man in the leg and then lying to justify the shooting. Under Texas law, Castro must be released from detention after 90 days, which is Thursday. Minnesota's governor files suit asking a judge to force Texas to return Castro. The federal judge in Brownsville, Texas, says he'll decide Wednesday on whether Castro should continue to be held. I'm Donna Warder.
Stock values are way down right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 101 points. The Nasdaq down 103. More at Town Hall.
When it comes to our cars, those infotainment screens, turbos, advanced transmissions, and cameras are all great until they fail. And if your car is out of warranty, repairing them can cost thousands. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, make sure you're covered for auto repair bills with an auto protection plan from Endurance. They've paid out hundreds of millions in claims and helped drivers with plans that cover engine, drivetrain, electrical system, transmission, and more. Endurance gives you straightforward claims processing and direct payment to your certified mechanic. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. When your check engine light comes on, don't ignore it because you're worried about a big auto repair bill. Call Endurance and choose the plan that's right for you. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
For your free quote, call 800-292-8705. 800-292-8705. 800-292-8705.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
Hey guys, don't miss Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. where we talk about so many areas, including AI, law, and health. We have some fantastic guests on my show. Don't forget, Sunday evenings at 8 p.m., Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer.
Hey, it's Nick Schroer. To preserve this nation, to preserve the experiment and liberty that our founders envisioned, we must take a stand and fight.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer. Sunday nights at 6.
Only on Newstalk STL.
This is Stacy with Reach Reproductive Health.
Join us October 22nd for our annual Reach Gala at the Factory in Chesterfield. It will be a night of incredible live music and inspiring stories, and we're excited to finally reveal our keynote speaker, Michael Gosling, birth son of Michael McDonald of the Doobie Brothers, who will share his powerful story and adoption witness. You won't want to miss it. Register or sponsor a table at outreachforlife.org/gala.
This hour, The Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by the Trolley Stop Bakery, the official bakery of The Vic Porcelli Show. You're listening to The Vic Porcelli Show.
A 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough.
We squeeze in a dry hump day under partly sunny skies.
From New Jersey to Baldwin, Missouri, two behind the microphone, taking the whoosh to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to The Vic Porcelli Show. Here he is, Vic Porcelli.
Or Tim Jones. Yeah, either one works. Welcome back to The Vic Porcelli Show. Tim Jones in for Vic Porcelli. Vic will be back with us tomorrow. The time has flown by. Third hour of our 3-hour tour. We're going to be joined by Alvin Liu. Is that how I say it?
I think it's Louis.
Louis? Louis? We'll find out.
Yeah.
President of Courage is a Habit. Courage is very appropriate to have Alvin wrap up this hour as we begin the hour with a very special Vic for Vets presentation today. We got a bunch of things to talk about regarding Vic for Vets. At 11:25, Biden book memoirs. And
the inside scoop on the audio version of his upcoming book.
We have been given an advance copy. How do we get access to such things? We have our ways. We have our people.
Yeah.
We're Italian. There's these things just kind of happen. And if we have time, we're going to try to do our best to do a little look-see at the chat box.
Let's do it.
Chat boxes. Chat boxes.
Right.
Multiple boxes of chat.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. Thank you all for joining us. I have seen a bunch of you are online, watching us online. So how about I mention the fact that you can watch this program and all of our programs online. You can listen to us the old-fashioned way at 101.9 or 94.1 News Talk STL on your FM dial, as we once used to say. And you can still do that, right? There still is a dial. There still is radio transmissions going out. But so many of you listen to us so many different ways, like I do. I listen on streaming speakers, smart speakers at home. That's how I listen to Vic and Ken every single morning when I'm sitting down in my study, typing away and listen to the guys in the background and all these great guests like we've had on today. You can listen to us online, NewstalkSTL.com. One of the easiest ways, my friends, if you haven't done it already, shame on you. We're 5+ years old now. Download the News Talk STL app. Just download the app. Your phone becomes your radio. How does that happen? Well, because the app makes it the radio station, basically. News Talk STL. Greatest app on the planet. I'm being serious. Our app is so easy to use. You download it. It downloads in like 3 or 4 seconds. And then you open the app and you press the play button. That's all you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
It hooks to your car speakers. It hooks to your home speakers, wherever you have that Bluetoothy technology. That's a fantastic way to listen to the show. Many of you put us up on your TV, on your smart TVs at home, and you watch us on Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We're on all these streaming platforms. All that information is always accessible and readily available for you at NewstalkSTL.com. I would say the two best one-stop shops, the website, NewstalkSTL.com, the app, NewstalkSTL. Definitely like us, share us on Twitter X, on Facebook, on whatever social media platform you're on. We don't need to be kept a secret. We are in our 6th year of programming. That's crazy talk. And we've got great events this year. We've had a ton of events this year. All the shows have been doing live remotes all over the St. Louis region and beyond. And we've got 2 huge September events coming up. We have the annual St. Louis County Lincoln Reagan Day dinner. Chris Arps, my co-host, will be emceeing that. He will be introducing keynote speaker, Newsmax personality, great guy with a lot of St. Louis and Missouri connections, Rob Carson. You know Rob Carson. He's on Newsmax every day. Rob Carson, it'll be a great night. Go to NewstalkSTL.com for details. And secondly, a fellow you hear often, specifically on this show, former Representative, U.S. Marine Corps retired Paul Kurtman, bringing back the big dinners.
Yes.
The Leadership for America dinner. I am very honored and privileged to be able to MC that alongside Paul Kurtman. That is Friday, September 25th. So we've got the Lincoln Reagan Day dinner on Saturday the 19th, and then barely, not even a week later, I keep wanting to say Saturday, Friday, September 25th, St. Charles County Convention Center, the Grand Ballroom, Nick Shirley, the keynote speaker, the young, intrepid investigative reporter. He's a great guy. I think Jamie Ullman interviewed him a week or so ago.
Yeah.
He's going to be appearing on several other of our shows as we get closer to that event. Folks, Paul told me, because we're all working with Paul on this event, we're hosting it with him at NewstalkSTL.com. Paul Kurtman told me the other day, tickets are going quickly. These are big, popular dinners. Everybody remembers them. Paul helps put on an awesome show. Last time we did this with Paul, we had Don Jr. and Seth Dillon from the Babylon Bee In. That was an awesome show. It was a hilarious show, interesting, entertaining show. You're going to walk away with tons of knowledge, as Commander Connors always says. You're going to be smarter than when you walked in.
And, Tim, they're important because back in the day, if you remember when Paul tried to do the Defense of Freedom one that you're talking about, the Chase, one of the Chase
one of the card
subsidiaries,
processors,
said, nope, we're not doing it now. Now you can't do it. And it really slowed him down for a while, but he got back up and did it.
That's how important these dinners are. The Leadership for America dinner featuring Nick Shirley and other VIP-level speakers. That'll be Friday, September 25th. Please join us. Go to NewstalkSTL.com for all those details. While you're there, subscribe to our weekly email newsletter that my producer, executive producer Joey V, helps make sure is published, and you can do lots more on the website. All right, without further ado, we have a very important Vic for Vets today with a special bonus feature.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Yes, it is time for Vic for Vets. This is the official Vic for Vets Honor Roll highlighting our honored veterans. Today's submission was by listener and Vic Head Hopkins, 58. It's our honored veteran today is John Dominic Feeney. He was born in Ireland in 1843. This goes way back.
Wow,
this is one of those
how cool.
Yeah. He immigrated with his parents and siblings to the United States and settled in Houston County, Minnesota.
That's a long haul from Ireland.
Yes. When the Civil War broke out, he was in New Orleans and was conscripted in the Confederate Army. He deserted and went upriver to Cairo, Illinois, when he enlisted in the Illinois 9th Infantry Regiment. He was wounded in the Battle of Fort Donelson in Tennessee. In the hospital, he contracted typhoid fever and he lost his hearing. He died in 1928 in North Dakota. So thanks a lot for that submission, Hopkins 58, for John Dominic Feeney. And everybody, today is the 5-year remembrance of a very special group of people, and they receive our prayers all the time, and we want to continue to honor them. We do every day by touching the flag of the Freedom 13. I have them on my wrist every single day from the time that Mark Schmitz gave me the honor of wearing one of the little Freedom 13 bracelets. I wear both of them now. And it's a remembrance for the Freedom 13. Today marks the 5-year remembrance of them. The service members were killed in the suicide bombing at Abbey Gate outside the Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul, Afghanistan on August 26, today's date, 2021. The service members lost, as identified and include, in the United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Darren T. Hoover, 31 years old when he passed, Sergeant Johanny Rosario Picardo, 25, Sergeant Nicole L.G., 23, Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22. Corporal Dagan W. Page, 23. Corporal Humberto A. Sanchez, age 22 when he passed. Lance Corporal David L. Espinoza at 20. These are the 20-year-olds here right now. Lance Corporal Riley J. McCollum, 20. Lance Corporal Dylan R. Marola. Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nakui, 20 years old. And our very own Lance Corporal Jared M. Schmitz, age 20. From the United States Army, Staff Sergeant Ryan C. Krause. I'm sorry, I think it's Ryan C. Noss, age 23, and then from the United States Navy, hospital man Maxton W. Soviak, age 22. Our thoughts and prayers, our hearts, our remembrance goes out to Mark Schmitz, the father Jared, his family and friends, and the families of the other 12 Patriots that we lost 5 years ago today. Today's Vic for Vets Honor Roll inductee and inductees, and the remembrance of our honored veterans on News Talk STL with the support from our friends at Alamo Military Collectibles, Gemini Wealth Group, Heroes Care, of course, and Michael's Funeral Home and Freddy's Market. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to mention that, Tim.
Indeed, freedom is not free, and we should always take time, whenever that time might be, do it on a daily basis if you can, to think about those who are willing to sign on the dotted line to give all for our nation and continue to do so. To all of our military families, to all of our veterans out there, to all the veterans in my family, my father, my uncles, my friends. I have many friends who have served. I hang out with a lot of military guys, and thank you to all of you for everything you have done, for everything you continue to do, for the great American patriots you are, and for knowing that a constitutional republic of and by and for the people is never done by accident. It takes a lot of people working really hard to make sure that those freedoms are secured. And all of you military members and family members and veterans, you know that, you've done that, and we can't thank you enough for it.
And if you're listening right now and you're thinking, wow, I have somebody that I want to honor, please do so. Send the information to me, Ken, at NewstalkSTL.com. It's like name, rank, branch of service. And if they have a military story or a civilian story, we just want to know about the person, living or deceased, okay? Send them to me, and we'll take care of that for you. We'll make them, they'll become a part of the honor roll and for Vic for Vets, and that's Ken at NewstalkSTL.com.
Send it in. Send it in. Don't delay another day. Send it in to Ken at NewstalkSTL.com, and you may also honor your veteran here on the Vic Porcelli Show. And I think it's wonderful that you fellas do that. I had the opportunity, so I am so glad that we're keeping the memory of the Freedom 13 alive because of the strong local connection that it has. And our very good friend Rick Pogue just unveiled his new shooting range out at his home. It's a private shooting range, but I was invited to the grand opening of that. There were a couple other dignitaries there, including Mark Schmitz, because Rick has dedicated his shooting range to the Freedom 13. There is a wrought iron gate that you go under. It's a little bit, it's like west. So Rick and his family have a beautiful piece of property out in the Western Lands, and there's like a back area of this property that's surrounded by nothing. So Rick was like, hey, perfect place for a shooting range. I think somebody told him, he's like, yeah, you could put a shooting range in here. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll put a shooting range in. And you go through this beautiful wrought iron gate, and you know what it's called at the top? Heaven's Gate.
Wow.
Because Mark Schmitz was like, well, I don't know. I don't think we should call it Jared's shooting range. That doesn't quite, that doesn't quite roll off the tongue. And Mark even said this. Mark even said this. But so they were like, okay, well, we don't want to say Abbey Gate. So they both, Mark and Rick, were like, they came up with Heaven's Gate. So the Heaven's Gate. And before you get to the shooting range itself, off on the right-hand side, there's a little path that goes up this little hill, like a little knoll. And on top of the little knoll is a beautiful memorial for and to the Freedom 13. There's a massive American flag stand with the American flag. And then there's a ring. I don't know where Rick found these. They're miniature concrete, they're about 3 feet tall, concrete soldiers. And they're arranged in a circle. And to make it as authentic as possible, Rick even found they're like cast concrete little G.I. Joes, little soldiers, and they're all in their gear. And there's the women are represented as well. There's little female concrete soldiers as well.
That's
and
awesome.
They're arranged in a circle around these, and there's boulders, these big rocks and boulders, and there's benches. You can sit and think and ponder the meaning of life and all the things that military people do for us. And it's like a little park setting. and then down below is the little shooting range. And so
is this range for the public?
No, it's private.
Okay,
but I can get you in.
Can you really? You know somebody?
I know people. Yeah. So I think it's really cool that Rick Pogue, who is a huge supporter of this station, has been since the beginning. He's an investor. He's a supporter. He's an advertiser. I think it's great that he did this. And Mark Schmitz was there at the dedication. We did a little dedication ceremony, and Mark was there, and he was pretty emotional about it. And so we've got the flag right behind Ken. It's right behind whoever the producer is.
Mark gave that to us, to Vic
really
and
cool.
I.
And Ken, because Joe Biden was physically and mentally unable to do it and unwilling to do it, and his staff was unwilling to do it, Donald Trump has stepped in the gap there and become the consoler in chief, not only to the families of the Freedom 13, but to all the fallen. Donald Trump knows that war and that military operations are a nasty business, but if our nation is going to continue to help keep this world as free as possible and to try to perpetrate freedom across the planet, not to be the world's policeman, but to always be someone who advocates for that, then sometimes we're going to have to get our hands dirty and sometimes people are going to die, and it's horrible, but that's the way it's been since the beginning of time.
And with what he's doing right now in Iran, for example, that's a direct threat to our nation. It's not nation building. He's not doing anything except protecting the American people by making sure that the Iranian Islamic Republic leadership never, ever has a nuclear weapon.
Indeed. Ken, we got some unfortunate breaking news here on, and maybe it's appropriate it happened during this little bit somber of a segment here. We lost another 80-year-old today. We lost another 80-year-old today. So we lost Dolly Parton yesterday.
Yeah.
And Jeff Allen walked in and just handed me this little press release here. We got some breaking news here. Tim Curry of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Home Alone 2 dead at the age of 80 years old. Very sorry to hear this.
Yeah, Vic was really upset to find out that he had a stroke. And then at that point, I know that Vic said that, he couldn't do any appearances anymore or anything like that, so it was just a matter of time. So that's really sad.
Legendary actor, Rocky Horror Picture Show star Tim Curry passed away last night, Tuesday night, in Los Angeles at the age of 80. TMZ first reported. Variety has confirmed. The British actor suffered a stroke in 2012, 14 years ago, and had been dealing with serious health issues as a result of that for more than a decade.
Yeah.
According to TMZ, police responded to his home at 11:23 p.m. local time on Tuesday. No foul play suspected. Curry started his professional acting career in the late 1960s, shortly after graduating from the University of Birmingham in the UK. During a 1968 West End production of Hair, remember Hair?
Oh, yeah.
Famous musical.
Yeah.
Curry met actor Richard O'Brien, who wrote the 1975 musical comedy, the famous, or for some people, the infamous, Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was then that Curry landed his breakout role as the very bizarre corset and fishnet stocking-wearing Dr. Frankenfurter, which later became, and still is, a cult classic. I believe there's a theater here in St. Louis that runs it every so often, especially around Halloween.
I think in the Loop somewhere. And
was it the High Point?
I believe so.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, but I'm sure there are going to be many tribute movies, coming out. Not tribute movies, but I mean tributes to him of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Just in time for fall.
Just in time for fall. I'm sure they will, yeah.
Yes. Very sad to hear that. He had many other roles as well. Many kids might remember him. He played Mr. Hector, the very funny Plaza Hotel's personal concierge.
Oh, yeah.
In Home Alone 2, which I think featured Donald Trump as well.
It did, yeah.
Yes. Lost in New York. He was also in Annie, The Hunt for Red October, Muppet Treasure Island, Addams Family Reunion.
Hunt for Red October? I wonder what role he played there. I love that movie.
And Scary Movie 2. So very sad to hear about our second celebrity death. Usually there's a third. We hope there's not. But lost Dolly Parton yesterday, and we've lost Tim Curry, both at the age of 80 years old. Folks, live every day like it's your first or your last. Enjoy this great life we have. When we come back, we got exclusive insider access to the Biden book memoirs. We got the audiobook version. We'll play you a clip from that. We'll talk about the Muslim jihad, and we might be looking at some chat boxers as well. So get your message in. We'll read those when we come back on the Vic Porcelli Show, 1019 94.1 Newstalk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Boy, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Woosh, whoosh.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app
Love the all-new Newstalk STL app.
and listen anytime, anywhere.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Jamie Allman, the news business has totally changed from when you started.
Yeah, it really drives me crazy about the whole way in which they replace anchors. Like if a woman gets old, if she gets over 40, they send her packing. You can look like Jabba the Hutt as a man and still be an anchor on local news. I don't understand that, but it's not fair.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Are you really set up for the future? I mean, buying a home, putting money away for your kids' college, thinking about retirement. Are you dialed in, or are you just kind of hoping it all works out? That's where Royal Banks of Missouri comes in. They'll actually sit down with you and build a real savings plan that fits your life, not some cookie-cutter approach. Whether it's roundup savings, money market accounts, or IRAs, they've got the tools. Most importantly, they've got the people to help you use them the right way. And if you run a business, this is big. Their treasury management team helps you stay on top of cash flow, cut down on fraud risk, and simplify your operations so you can focus on growing your business instead of chasing down numbers all day. That's the difference. Local bankers who actually know you and care about your success. Give them a call today, 314-212-1500, or visit royalbanksofmo.com to learn more. Royal Banks of Missouri, investing in our communities, one client at a time. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
News, analysis, opinion.
Don't always agree, but in love listening to your radio station. This is tyrannical stuff they're doing.
Elections have consequences.
This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Woosh, whoosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
I have a theory. People talk loud when they want to act smart, right?
Correct! Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
And now an excerpt from Promise Me America by Joe Biden.
I believe China would join if we put pressure on them. We got almost 200 nations to join.
Look, the whole idea is he's got to get in place things that were shortages of.
56% of Americans said that they were better off today than they were 4 years ago, would have been under the Obama-Biden administration. So why should people who feel that they are better off today under the Trump administration vote for you?
Well, if they think that, they probably shouldn't.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other Biden.
Don't you have one that literally sounds like that?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like,
Trinidad's under pressure.
Well, there you go, folks. Your exclusive insider access to the Biden book memoirs, the audiobook version that only Vic and Ken have been able to review up to this point, but we're sharing it with you, our lovable listeners. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, that's the inside scoop, man. We got to give it to the Vic heads.
Who in the world is going to want to listen or read that train wreck? I mean,
true. And
first of all, there won't be revelations of anything important. It'll just be, it's something that I'm sure that Dr. Jill has released. in order to continue paying the bills because most of their grift is gone, right? Like the world doesn't need the Bidens anymore for much of anything, and really never did in the first place.
And think about that, Tim, is that near the end right there where they lost, okay, Jill was losing her stuff. Right.
Yes.
At the very end, when,
all her trappings.
You could start to see the fangs come out. She was getting angry. She was getting mad at him. She was getting mad at the reporters. She was really losing. And you saw a little insight about how she controlled everything. I mean, she really did control a lot of it. There were rumors of her and her son Biden or Hunter going into the main meetings with the president and his administration.
Sure, they were
to make decisions.
And the media covered all this up.
Oh, you did
every
so
single
good,
ounce
Joe.
of it.
You were so good, Joe.
And now she's doing this ridiculous media tour for what reason I don't know. And she literally is still saying now, Ken, now in 2026, I don't know what happened. I never saw it coming. You know, we had that debate performance in June of 2024, and I never saw that before. There was never had an inkling that there was anything going. And you know, after that, he was fine too. I don't know. It was like there was a time space warp or something in the continuum, and we don't know. Maybe he had a temporary stroke or an imaginary stroke, or I had a stroke, or
well, I just remember being
maybe we all had a stroke and we saw something we didn't see. Like, Ken, the fact that they're acting like Joe Biden was fine, then why didn't he run for re-election? Right? You guys, Dr. Jill, and your cohort, you all decided that Joe Biden was not going to run for re-election. I don't think Joe decided. I don't think Joe knew what was going on. And you decided that for a reason. Why did you yank him off of the presidential ticket after he was already nominated? Talk about a palace coup. Talk about the people who are the most anti-democratic Democrats in this country. Kamala Harris never had one electoral vote cast for herself. And people say, well, you know, of course they did that. They had to do that politically. I don't care about your political excuses. That doesn't make it right.
No.
The Democratic Party are experts at doing exactly what you guys talk about every single day. Everything they say or do, the opposite is true. They are not the party of, they're the party of anti-democracy.
They're the party of Ed Stoid. Everything
Yes.
Democrats say, the opposite is true. And this is the thing that aggravates me the most about the Democrat Party. You have to be very careful because they will tell you what you see. They will tell you what you hear and what you're supposed to hear. And that's what they did for so many years with Biden. I remember being at the hideout like it was yesterday with Rick Pogue's hideout, and it was packed. We were ready for the debate. My family's there, and we're standing there, and I'm looking at the screen while Joe Biden was just going down this hole and thinking to myself, this is him. This has been him the whole time. Well, then what do they say right after that, Tim? Oh, he was on Ambien.
Right.
Or something.
Or he had a stroke.
Well, then
there's been 12 different excuses as to what happened to Joe that night or what was happening to Joe throughout his entire term.
That's my point, is that if he was on Ambien that night, then he's been on Ambien the whole time he was a quote-unquote
been on Ambien
president.
for 15 years.
Right.
Anyway, there's all that.
There's all that.
Goodness, yeah. Hey, do we have time
so
should we do a little chat box?
Well, we're going to probably do that next, right? I mean, you're going to do that next.
Right now?
No. Oh, yeah, we can.
We don't have a next.
Right, you're correct. Okay, so yeah, we can do a little bit of that right now.
Check in with the people?
Yeah.
All right, let's check in.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to have to get this music bed ready for you.
I'm looking at Facebook here, so I'll read some Facebook stuff if you've got some Rumble stuff coming up. Are you on Rumble?
Yeah, we got a little. Yeah, we do.
Okay, all right. And we're going to check in with all you in the chat boxers. Thanks for putting up with us today. Thanks for putting up with me as I've been here. All right, I'll do some. I'll throw out some Facebook stuff, Ken.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble, so on and so forth. So thanks for joining us. Don, DLW, says no Rumble. Well, I think there is now. I think we fixed the Rumble thing. I think it's up. Kathleen, good morning, fam bam, and whoosh whoosh on this Double Whoosh Wednesday. Dry hump day, indeed, as well. Kathleen wants to know, do you still have my pledge? Do you still have Kathleen's pledge somewhere?
Oh, yeah. We played it not too long ago.
It's in the pledge banks, Kathleen. We still have it. Kathleen also says, heaven just gained a very bright sparkle as our dear Dolly Parton has gone home to Jesus. Yes, she has indeed a true inspiration, a wonderful lady indeed. Jason says her pancake mix is really good. I didn't know she had pancake mix.
Yeah, she has her hand in everything.
She had everything. Scotty, good morning to the Navy Chief. Good morning, gents and fellow Vic heads. Heavy day today, the passing of Dolly yesterday, the 5-year anniversary, yes, of then deaths of our brothers and sisters to that Islamic savage terrorist. Yeah, the Muslim jihad, it's here. Remember Abbey Gate, the Freedom 13, we have the watch. Thank you, Scotty.
Thanks, Scotty.
Indeed. Thank you, Scotty. Amen. Amy. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Vic Head Patriots. Hello, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Amy. Hello back to you as well. Jason was weighing in on... Jason was talking about the imperfect ballot measures. Yeah, I know. These ballot measures... Look, I'm not a fan of these ballot measures. I don't care where they come from. We need to shut down this ballot baloney, this ballot bingo that is going on. Did you know bingo is in our Constitution because of that? We need to shut down this ballot bingo. That's my opinion, Jason, because we are a constitutional republic. We have representatives and senators for a reason, and this constant assault of the Missouri Constitution, they do it in a couple other states as well, by left-wing billionaires is ridiculous. Did you know that most states, a majority of states, red and blue, don't have this initiative petition process? I think it's just my personal opinion. It's bad juju. Tom says, good morning, everybody. Ken wait on there to win. Producer Ken here, of course, wishing everybody a double Woosh Wednesday. Ken, you got some Rumble stuff you want to throw out?
Yeah, let's do real quick. Gene says, good morning, all, especially Speaker Tim. Haven't called in a while to Tim and Chris. I'll get on that. PMS says turd. That means he's third. Good morning, Patriots. FYI, no chap. I know it's here. It's here. Ed Stoit says it's not here. It's here. Allison, good morning, freedom fighting patriot, loving Vic Heads. PMS, where you been? Hi, Allison.
Are they having conversations with themselves or with us or?
No, they haven't. Okay. We love it when they interact with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Allison says, hi, everybody. It's Ed Stoit. If you think it's okay to murder the unborn, you should never be allowed to govern the living. Exactly.
Amen.
Right on
Vote
that one.
for Amendment 3, November 3rd.
DLW, check out Dolly's top 10 list of pet peeves on Letterman. I guess you can probably find that on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Stoit, DLW, where you been? Yes, no chat segment today. They keep saying no chat segment.
Well, we brought it back.
I think we proved them wrong a little bit.
Brought it back.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I got a special guest here in Facebook.
Okay, go ahead.
Some guy named Vic.
Hey, Vic, maybe Porcelli?
Yeah, I think it's Vic Porcelli. He says, Ken, use the ping pong balls. Apparently, I wasn't paying attention to Ken at one point, and you throw ping pong balls at Vic when he does it. Yeah.
Yeah, Vic has to know that.
Hello, Vic. I hope Vic is well. Vic will be back tomorrow. He's all good. Bill says, good day, all, and a happy double Woosh Wednesday. Well, a very happy dry hump day to you, Bill, and to all the Vic heads out there. That's who I got on my chat box. You can listen to us on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, Instagram, YouTube.
And of course, let's see, DLW says, Timmy.
Nice. What do you guys always say? Who always says no election integrity, no peace? Or
yeah, something like that.
What's the latest mantra there?
We can't do it right. Vic will do it. He does it right.
He does it better.
No
peace.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yes. Stop the Islamic jihad or no peace. All right, we got one final segment and one more great guest. Last but not least, Alvin Louis. I think it's Louis. We'll find out how Alan pronounces his last name. It's either Lou or Louis. L-U-I. Alvin joins us next. The president of Courage is a Habit. Yeah, this crazy ass online sympathy surrounding Lindsay Clancy. Yeah, the lady who's on trial for she admitted, there's no question there, she admitted killing her 3 young children. It has exposed something much bigger about the modern parenting culture. What is that? Why should we be concerned? More importantly, what can we do about it? We'll talk to Alvin next on the Vic Porcelli Show, featuring Tim Jones and Ken Williams here at 101.9 and happy Double Woosh Wednesday, all you Vic heads. To my Ultra MAGA brothers and sisters. 101.9 94.1 Newstalk STL.
This is Newstalk STL at 101.9 94.1 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Woosh, woosh.
On Newstalk STL. Columbo and Company.
Notable Democrats already positioning for a presidential run, including AOC, who some say could be the next Barack Obama. Scary thought. We'll discuss Wednesday, plus Rodney Boyd and Close's cabinet.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint, formulated to outsmart the elements. Rain or shine, sleet or snow, mold or mildew. Our home exterior coatings intelligently designed to stand up to Mother Nature. Call 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Summer's here, and so is the freshest produce in town. At Anthony's Produce, we specialize in locally grown fruits and vegetables, straight from the farm to your table. Homegrown tomatoes, sweet corn, juicy cantaloupe, watermelon, and peaches, just to name a few. Plus, thousands of locally made products you won't find anywhere else. Need a fruit or vegetable tray for your next gathering? We've got you covered. Anthony's Produce on Jungerman Road or at anthonysproduce.com. Open 7 days a week.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stiefel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stiefel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hi, this is Yakov Smirnov, and you're listening to Vic and Ken on Vic Porcelli Show on the Newstalk STL.
This is the News Talk. Indeed.
The News Talk STL.
Yeah. Right around the corner, we've got the 3 Martini lunch with one Jamie Ullman. Is Jamie in? Is he in today? Is he out this week?
I'm pretty sure he's in.
I think he's back. He was up. It's summertime, so, well, it's near the end of summertime. Schools are back in now, I believe, for the most part. So we've been coming and going, and we're one big happy family here. As you all know, I'm Tim Jones, former Speaker of the Missouri House, and I help run the afternoon drive with Chris Harps. And we're coming at you every afternoon, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. But anytime any of us are out or need a little assistance, we will help step in and co-host on any of our other programs. So I'm in for Vic today. I've got Ken here as well. It's been a great show. It's zipped. The 3 hours has zipped right by. We got one final segment left. Let us not put it to any waste. Let's get right to it. We're joined by frequent friend of the station, of the show, Alvin Louie, the president of Courage is a Habit. Alvin, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here once again on the Vic Porcelli Show.
Alvin, I got you now.
Are you there, Alvin?
Yes.
We do have him. Very good. Alvin, remind our audience, what is Courage is a Habit? What do you all do there?
We're an organization that focuses on creating tactics and strategies for parents on knowing exactly what happens to their children in government K through 12, all the different indoctrinations and all the, there's a lot of lying, there's a lot of deflections, there's a lot of gaslighting, and we make it very clear for parents. And so that's really what we focus on. We have these really beautiful tools that explains to parents, all the various programs, and then more importantly is what to do, because we don't just believe in, if you just create outrage without no outlet, it creates hopelessness inadvertently, and we don't want parents to feel hopeless. We want them to feel powerful, empowered, and confident, and that's what we focus on.
Oh, I love that. Alvin, I'm a recovering legislator. I was in the Missouri House. I served as speaker many years ago, and I now do state government affairs work in addition to the radio work here. And so I'm a big fan, always have been, always will be. I still work on school choice issues and educational reform. So you're speaking my language. And I love the fact that, yeah, we do that a lot on this radio station. We talk about all the problems and the ills facing society, but we also, especially when we're speaking with great guests like you, we want to talk about solutions, right? So we're not just complainers, but we're actually doers. So, Alvin, this has been troubling to me. It's been so troubling to me that I haven't wanted to talk about it much. And I'm actually I'm a recovering lawyer as well. So, oh boy, I've got them all, right? The only thing I'm not is a recovering car salesman, but I'm a recovering lawyer. I'm a recovering politician. I was a prosecuting attorney, and then I was on the defense side. So I have dealt with a lot of horrible tragedy and violence and god-awful things during the 20 years that I served as a lawyer. But this Lindsay Clancy case, I mean, oh, holy smokes, Alvin. Thank God there's still things, I guess, that shock our conscience, right? Because it seems like it's hard to do that these days. But she is the admitted killer of her 3 young children, but her defense apparently is something along the lines of a temporary insanity defense. But, Alvin, hasn't this whole situation exposed and gotten us talking, hopefully in a positive way, about some of the major problems facing the modern parenting culture, which is upstream from politics and the law?
It really is. And what's really sad for me is that while the country is horrified, not just at the brutality and evil of the crime against those 3 babies, it's seeing these women support her, make excuses for her, chant her name like they did with George Floyd. Same group, by the way. Same group.
Same people.
Same people. They cried for George Floyd. Don't cry for the babies. Same group. And we see them every day in our work because they have saturated government K through 12, whether it's teachers, school counselors, social workers, therapists, school boards. These are so while the whole country are horrified, rightly so, at the support, not just the crime, it's another day for us because this is who we fight. When we talk about so for example, in Missouri, let's say they go, okay, we're going to, earmark $10 million for mental health, hire school counselors, mental health. These are the kind of people you're hiring in schools. And we did this huge expose on the American School Counselor Association, which, by the way, I would love to come back and just focus on that. But we did a huge report exposing the American School Counselor Association. And so when schools put money in mental health, they are hiring exactly these people. And so this is something we've seen time and time again in K through 12 in all 50 states. What I think, what I wrote about this particular case is that while parenting is hard, especially when you've got, obviously when you first become a parent, you go from a very self-centered lifestyle, 100% self, to immediately 24/7 with this beautiful human being that needs you all the time. And you don't get to send them back to the hospital for a week and rest up and go, okay, let me, because there's no grace period. And so being a parent is hard. However, I make the case that it has never been more convenient to be a parent, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, simply because of technology, of advancements on a whole lot of things. For example, you're not washing cloth diapers. We have efficient washers and dryers. We have super efficient dishwashers. Let's take grocery shopping, for example. For most of your listeners, if they have kids that are over 18, when you went to go grocery shopping, you have to pile the kids in the car, go inside. You got to, have to handle their, running around. And if they melt down, you got to leave the cart, and you got to deal with the rain. You got to deal with the snow. You got to deal with all kinds of things. Today, if you're a parent at home, you can shop from the comfort of your home on the app. Then you drive there and you park in a space. They bring it out to you. Now, there's a couple of things. There's a few problems with those kind of conveniences. Number one, you're not learning anything. Your children aren't learning anything because it's so convenient. You stick an iPad in their face. They sit in the back. Someone puts in the groceries. There's no appreciation for where it's coming from. They don't go through the process of learning how to behave, right, in a public place. You don't learn the patience to deal with them and, have discipline and boundaries and all those things as a parent. But more importantly, not only do you lose those skills and they lose the skills, it saves you so much time. And my premise is that a lot of these women that are on TikTok that you've likely seen, they have too much time on their hands. It's the old adage, the devil idle hands are the devil's workshop. So instead of doing the things, you take 2 hours to prepare dinner. No, you just do a one-pan dinner. You have these things you can just order delivered to your door. You can just heat it up. And so you have so much time on your hands. Now you have time to set up 2 ring lights, mic yourself up, do a 3 or 4 takes of you crying, and then upload it, do some hashtags, and then, and then do all those things. And I think this is a big problem where you've got, it's ingratitude. There's when these women that are like, you never hear gratitude.
Alvin, we're talking to Alvin Louie. He's the president of Courage is a Habit. Alvin, it's like the normalization of an action. I mean, social media, for example. You're correct. I mean, they will be they'll get the support from the people online saying, yeah, it's so hard to be a parent, and then they encourage it. And that's, I think, where it becomes a problem, is when it's all normalized, that behavior. And the people who go out and they support this woman who killed her kids, that 20 years ago, if they were protesting for her, they would have been ostracized.
Mm-hmm.
But today, it's like, yes, that's a great badge on your sleeve.
It is. It's insane. And yeah, imagine if you're in 85 or 92. And you had a bunch of women support that, they would be ostracized and shamed, as they would. But this is the problem with this type of radical, any kind of radical ideology, whether it's feminism, whether it's critical race theory, whether it's this woke mind virus that kind of covers it all. There's no bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's no bottom, right? The abortion goes from only rape to 3 months to second trimester to 9 months to, well, she killed her because she felt bad. She didn't feel appreciated.
And Alvin, we're seeing this not only in parenting, but in so many other aspects of society, aren't we? Where I know you are very aware of this. You focus on this. All of this adult level, self-centered selfishness, emotional validation, instead of personal accountability and individual responsibility. 2 key aspects that helped us create this great freedom and liberty nation in the first place, right?
Yes, and this is why having gratitude is so important. When you're not grateful, when you're an ingrate, it is a silent killer for your soul, for your mind. If you're grateful, you can be happy no matter the situation. Good things happen to you because people like being around grateful people. And so when you're ungrateful like this, I mean, a lot of these women who are supporting this murderous mother that killed her 3 children, the great majority of them are in either suburbs or upper middle class living. Look at the houses. You can tell by the house that they're recording in. And most of them are these woke white women that cried for George Floyd, that will trans children, that are supporting illegal aliens. Again, we know. We deal with them all the time in all districts. And so this is not some poor Filipino mother crying for this woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not. And so they have so much to be grateful for. Whether you have 2 kids or 3 kids and you stay at home mom, it's always going to be hard, but it has never been more convenient. Yet they are the most miserable. They cried more than any other group of mothers that's ever lived. And that's because they have so much time on their hands. They're so ungrateful. Obviously, social media is a huge social contagion. And so it is just really mixed together in this horrible cocktail of that we see, that you got women supporting something like this. It's unimaginable you could do that even 10 years ago.
Indeed.
And Alvin, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think this is all derived from the left. I really do. Over the period of the decades, it's been the left that has enabled all this stuff. I mean, just by nature of being a common sense conservative, you go for accountability, picking yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's what most of the beliefs we have. But on the left, if you do that, if you say, well, you must be accountable, then they're not dependent on you. So the left likes it when they're dependent on them, and they say, no, we'll help you, we'll take care of you. And that's just the way that they are.
And Alvin, I'll add to that, doesn't that all come as a result of what most people get, which is 15 to 20 years of brainwashing in government public schools and elitist woke institutions of higher education?
100%. In fact, earlier this year, we had unveiled a radical feminist program called Lean In Girls. In fact, if you go to courageasahabit.org right now and just type in Lean In Girls, we show you that this was a program targeting children or girls ages 11 to 15. All the usual stuff. Feminism, illegal aliens, you can have transgender is okay, a boy can be a girl. but it's targeted to girls 11 to 15 in schools under the guise of mental health. And this is just math. It's not. This is no indictment on anyone's parenting. But when you send your children to school, you send them to school where they spend 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. You get them back for about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much your commute is. So even if you get them for 3 or 4 hours at night, number one, you don't get them at your best or their best because you're exhausted, they're exhausted. So you're just going through the motions. The schools get them when they're fresh and ready to learn, and the things that they learn is all this ideology that makes them hate themselves, hate America, hate family, hate white people, on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a sense, you're the babysitter. If you do the math, you become the babysitter and the school becomes the primary. Now, that's 13 years. Okay, that's 13 years because it's K through 12. You don't have to send them to college. We really encourage you not to these days, for sure. But if you don't include college, it's still 13 years. And it's 13 years of arguably, the 13 most influential, most moldable years of a human being's life.
Indeed.
4 to 5 to 18, right? So because when you're, this is why I say you're not going to brainwash a 40-year-old.
Right.
He's not brainwashed. Right? Yeah. There's no such thing as a 40-year-old activist. It's like there's no such thing as a 40-year-old golf person, right? Because you can't. What are you going to do? You're going to brainwash a 40-year-old from 40 to 52?
Exactly.
No, right? Or 53 or 58 or whatever? No, right? It's that age is, and so you can't take down it takes a lot to take down a redwood tree.
Yes.
At some point, that redwood tree was a little sapling. Well, anybody can take that out. Anybody can do anything they want to that sapling, and that's how we got to look at raising children.
Great analogy indeed. Alvin, before we let you go, resources, online sites you would direct folks to check out everything we just discussed and more?
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you having me on, and I hope to come back. You guys are great. Thank you. It is courageisahabit.org. Courageisahabit.org. We have a massive catalog, and when we write these catalogs and build these tools, we have it with parents of school-age children in mind, meaning that their time is very, very precious. And so we try to get to the point. We try to give you just enough so that you can take action. Taking action is hugely important to us because we feel like it's not us protecting your kids, it's you protecting your kids. Our job is to just remind you how.
Yep.
And then, of course, we are on socials. Any social is at Courage Habit. So the website is courageisahabit.org. The socials are at Courage Habit, and we are a nonprofit. So every time you share like an interview like with these gentlemen, or you share one of our tools, you give us $10 to pay for some subscriptions. It really does go a long way to my small team.
Hey, Alvin, I'll look you up on X. I'm pretty much on there a lot.
Yeah,
so.
we are happy to help.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great. Love to connect with you guys.
At Courage Habit on all the socials or the website, courageisahabit.org. Alvin, thank you for everything that you and your team are doing literally to try to help save America and our culture indeed. Thanks, Alvin. We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is 11:57 in the a.m. My goodness. Nearly 3 hours in the can. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun, Tim.
It was. And hello to Vic. Vic's listening at home. He's doing well. He'll be back again tomorrow. Hello to all the Vic heads. Thanks for listening. Jamie Allman, the 3 Martini Lunch, is up next.
The question is, Tim, did you enjoy the whole 3 hours with me?
I hardly realized it was 3 hours.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The newsletter, Ken, I talked about earlier, just came out.
Yes.
The News Talk STL newsletter. We send you 1 email a week. We do not flood your email inbox. And this newsletter, pound for pound, is better than most you get because it is chock full of information. You got the St. Louis County Lincoln Reagan Day dinner reminder and details in there. You've got the Nick Shirley Leadership for America event and details in there. You've got some Vic for Vets honor roll reminders and details in there. You got some Todd Showalter cartoons, and that's it. It's a great newsletter. Go to NewstalkSTL.com to subscribe. I'm Tim Jones, former Speaker of your Missouri House. It was great sitting in for the great Vic Porcelli today. Vic will be back tomorrow for a Thunderdome Thursday of a show indeed. Next up, Jamie Allman and the 3 Martini Lunch.
The award-winning show. See you, everybody. Thanks, Tim.
Woosh.
Challenges
Woosh.
deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
If you love your pet, which I know you do, then they deserve the excellent treatment and care they'll receive at Pacific Animal Hospital in Pacific, Missouri, a full-service veterinarian facility. Originally built and grown by my dad, Dr. Bill Jones, a new generation of wonderful veterinarians and staff at Pacific continue to provide outstanding medical, surgical, dental, boarding, and grooming services for your favorite furry friends. Our family entrusts the care of our pets only to the experienced docs and staff at Pacific Animal Hospital. You should too. Call them today, 636-257-2100, 24/7 at PacificVets.com, PacificVets.com.
Your trees do a lot for you. Shade, beauty, curb appeal, but are they safe? Clever Tree Service has been protecting St. Louis homes and landscapes for over 20 years. Pruning, trimming, removal, stump grinding, even 24/7 emergency storm service. Fully insured, eco-friendly, and always focused on you. From Kirkwood to Chesterfield, Webster Groves to Wildwood, your neighbors trust Clever Tree Service. Visit clevertreeservice.com for your free quote today.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. An inflation measure closely watched by the Federal stayed elevated last month in the latest sign that many Americans are still struggling with higher prices. The Commerce Department reports that prices rose 3.7% in July compared with a year ago. Shrouded in secrecy, visited Moscow by CIA Director John Ratcliffe.
Ratcliffe held talks in Moscow with his